Right? So far, so good. So far, so good. Facebook. Oh my goodness, fourth time a charm. Is the fourth time a charm. Can you guys see me? Everybody check in. Can you guys see me? There will not be a notification going out. I used them all. Roll call. Check into the stream, comment where you're tuning in from. There we go. There we go. I reset my whole internet, unplugged it, left it for like a minute, plugged it back in, reset everything. How you doing? We're back. We're good. Should be good to go now. Facebook's going. Facebook Live. Definitely not going to get a notification though. Definitely not going to get a notification. This is the fourth time. We got it. All right. There we go. Check in, everybody. Check in. Why do I not have a... I lost my subscriber badge on Facebook. Oh no. How to fix that. Hello from Washington, Spokane, Washington. Welcome to Mercado Media Productions. This is live. If you're watching this for the first time, if you're watching this after the fact, this was like the fourth attempt at going live tonight. I've been trying since 9:15. I've been trying for an hour. Hello, how you doing? Thanks. Yeah, just bad internet connection. We're having terrible weather here in Minnesota, especially in the Twin Cities. We're in April. It's 30. It's gonna get down to 27 degrees outside. So it's wet and cold. The weather's not doing too well. All right, I got my subscriber badge back on Facebook, sharing the stream back out. First notification. Yep, Facebook, this is the first time you guys are going to get notified. YouTube's been going through it. YouTube's been going through it over there. Share the stream if you guys haven't. Spam those reactions. You guys are tuned into the updates on the war in Ukraine, and I feel I should let you guys know this. As this goes on, I'm probably going to be incorporating other news, or we're going to be switching to a more of just an evening news update, and then we're going to go through other happenings as well. Information's getting tight coming out of Ukraine. It's getting hard to fill even 3 hours worth of coverage now, which is unfortunate, but it's what happens when these situations occur. Information gets tight, the information flow gets tight. Information it doesn't come out like it does when the war first started. So I mean, we got things going on in Yemen, there's things going on in Tel Aviv, I mean, there's things going on around the world, and then in local news too. So the plan is probably next week or so, we're going to start doing a more broader news coverage. All right, because it's getting hard to fill 3 hours on just Ukraine. So we're obviously going to be covering Ukraine every stream, but I'm going to let you guys know we're going to be incorporating other news, and we're going to treat it the same way that we have with Ukraine. All right, so anything that we see, like big events, the event in Tel Aviv, we can go on Google Maps and figure out where that is and what it looks like, and look at the geography, get the history, and treat everything as we have with Ukraine. But it's not as if Ukraine is slowing down or as if it's over. The information flow is just very difficult to fill the time frame. You got to remember, when we first started the coverage, I was able to fill about 12 hours nonstop, right? 12 hours straight of the war in Ukraine, and I still didn't have enough. I still needed to go live again to just fill more time, or to provide the coverage that I was missing. And as we go here, information flow is just getting tighter and tighter. So you guys can look at this in our description of the video. Austria expels 4 Russian diplomats. Austria's foreign ministry said on April 7th that they had been conducting activities not in accordance with their diplomatic status. Russian troops shelled the Kharkiv civilian infrastructure 48 times over the last 24 hours. 3 people had been killed by Russian artillery in the city of Balakliya in the region. Source: Kharkiv Oblast Governor Oleh Synehubov. I definitely butchered the governor's last name of Kharkiv. German intelligence intercepted occupiers' radio messages discussing the killing of civilians in Bucha. German intelligence believes that the killing of civilians should be a part of a, quote, clear strategy. Kyiv City Hall bans visiting forests during martial law. The Vyshgorod district administration of the Kyiv Oblast said on March that forests in the district, which is separate from the city, cannot be visited either. Martial law will be in force until at least April 25th. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. We have 420 in the chat on YouTube. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. Continue to spam those reactions and share the stream on Facebook. Make sure you're following, you're subscribed. Almost 90% of the dead civilians in Bucha in the Kyiv region were found to have bullet wounds, not shrapnel. This was announced by the mayor, city Antony Fedoruk. So the 90% of dead civilians in Bucha in the Kyiv region had bullet wounds. So those viral images of the civilian deaths there. Dnipro mayor, residents not involved in critical infrastructure should evacuate. According to Susplain media, Boris Filatov said that the situation in eastern Ukraine is escalating. Dnipro is a regional capital in the central Ukraine that borders the eastern Donetsk Oblast. The Kharkiv Oblast governor, mayor of Balakliya, fled to Russia. Oleh Subinov told ICTV that Balakliya mayor Ian Stolobovy had fled to Russia with his family. Subinov said the mayor is under investigation. He earlier accused Stolovy of collaborating with the Russian forces. Foreign Minister, Battle of Donbass will be similar to World War II. This will not be a local operation based on what we see from Russia's operations. Dmytro Kuleba said that he expects large-scale operations involving thousands of tanks, armored vehicles, and aircraft. And we heard from Kuleba at the beginning of the NATO conference. He did what was called a doorstep. NATO had a meeting today. I'm not sure how it went. I like to react to news live with you guys. We compile as much as we can in between. But a lot of this news I like to react with you at the same time. Ukraine's military, 16 sabotage groups caught in the Kyiv in the past 2 days. Alexander, deputy chief of staff of Ukraine's ground forces, said that some of the members of the sabotage and reconnaissance groups are recruited Ukrainians. Luhansk Oblast governor, no hospital survived in the region. According to Serhiy Hadai, every healthcare facility was shelled and damaged in Luhansk Oblast. Russian forces attacked hospitals deliberately so that the injured people, quote, do not have a chance to survive, he said. Stoltenberg, NATO to step up support for Ukraine as the, quote, big battle in Donbass is expected. Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said that NATO members are ready to provide more equipment to Ukraine, and they realize the urgency of such deliveries. The United Nations General Assembly voted Thursday to suspend Russia from the Humanitarian Rights Council. The voting result was 93 in favor, 23 against, and 58 abstentions. The United States Senate voted unanimously today on 2 bills to suspend normal trade relations with the Russian Federation and to immediately ban all Russian oil and energy imports. The White House approved both bills last month, so they will now both go to President Biden to sign into law. Over 500,000 people officially registered as internationally displaced persons in Ukraine since February 24th. Over 4 million Ukrainians fled abroad, while another 6.5 million people are thought to be internally displaced, according to the United Nations. President Zelensky calls for heavy weapons to defeat Russia. President Vladimir Zelensky added that Russia is ready to use all kinds of weapons against Ukraine, including nuclear, if it sees that Ukraine and its supporters are weak. 26 bodies were found today under the rubble of only 2 buildings in Borodyanka in the Kyiv region. General Prosecutor of Ukraine said many more are believed to be there. Russian soldiers destroyed the buildings and shot at rescuers. People were left to die slowly. Irpin mayor announces 3-day curfew. Mayor Alexander Markshun announced that the curfew in Irpin will last from 9 p.m. to April 7th until 9 a.m. April 11th. Entrance to the city will be closed. So that is the latest updates. You can find that in the description of our video. Again, guys, go ahead and check on into the stream. Comment where you're tuning in from. Yeah, we're going to have plenty of election coverage coming down the pipeline. I'm going to be there in person. I'm going to be out there for those. I'll cover what I can at home, but the midterms are for the congressional elections. I'll be out there. Good evening, Tia. Good evening. All right, let's get into it. Again, spam those reactions, share the stream. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Thank you for The YouTube, thank you for sticking through it. That was about an hour delay. I was trying to go live multiple times and my connection just, it was not working. I have at-home internet still. As much as, you know, I have a YouTube channel and like, or a media page and I do news, it's still very much my own internet at-home stuff that similar to what you guys got. It's gigabit internet, but it has issues sometimes. Hawk's Eye View, thank you so much for that. Have not missed any of your streams, been watching since day one, and you are an amazing independent journalist and hope you go far. Slava Ukraine. Thank you so much. Columbus, Ohio. Hello from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Hello, Australia. How are you doing? Quick viewer roll call check-in, then we're going to get into it and start watching some clips and some video, looking at maps, looking at what's going on. Tampa, Florida, thanks for keeping us informed. Thank you for tuning in. Yep, it's working. Share the stream out if you could. Let Discord know. I went live. I tried too many times, so not many people are going to get notified. YouTube limits you to 3 uploads a day for notifications, and this was number 4. Hello, how you doing? Australian election set for May as well. Hello from Puerto Rico, how you doing? I'm glad you guys are back. Hello, hello. All right, let's get right into it then. So this is one of the big clips from today that came out. This is it's a black screen. I gotta put the screen on. See, nothing is working properly. Nothing's working properly. This is one of the biggest clips coming out today after the United Nations General Assembly voted to suspend Russia from the Human Rights Council. This was an interview with Sky News talking to a defense, talking to Peskov admits that they had a significant loss of troops. So this just shows you the disconnect that Russian leadership even have, or are just ignorantly choosing this route. And you guys can hear the narrative that he says in the clip.
Generals, hundreds of tanks and other equipment. It's a humiliation, really, isn't it?
No. It's a wrong understanding of what is going on.
But what is wrong about what I've just said?
Well, nearly everything. Nearly everything.
Well, but you've lost thousands of troops, yeah? Let's go through it. You've lost thousands of troops. How many troops have you lost?
We have significant losses of troops, and it's a huge tragedy for us. Now, about 2 regions, Kyiv and the Chernigov regions. So actually, the troops were really withdrawn from that region as an act of a goodwill during the negotiations between 2 delegations, Russian and Ukrainian delegation. And it was an act of a goodwill just to lift tension from those regions, and in order to show that Russia is really ready to create comfortable conditions for continuation of negotiations.
Yeah, but it's just not true, is it?
What it's just not true is just grilling them one more time.
How? You've lost thousands of troops. You've lost 6 generals, hundreds of tanks and other equipment. It's a humiliation, really, isn't it?
No. It's a wrong understanding of what is going on.
But what is wrong about what I've just said?
Well, nearly everything. Well,
but you've lost thousands of troops, yeah? Let's go through it. You've lost thousands of troops. How many troops have you lost?
We have significant losses of troops, and it's a huge tragedy for us. Now, about 2 regions, Kyiv and the Chernigov regions. So actually, the troops were really withdrawn from that region as an act of a goodwill during the negotiations between 2 delegations, Russian.
So he says that the reason that they left the Kyiv region, and here it is on our war map, you guys that have been tuned in, or if you've missed a few streams, this is the update. Their Russian forces have been expelled to just the eastern region and southern region. Well, they've always been here, right? This is Crimea. This is the annexed, quote unquote annexed region that Russia took from Ukraine. And then here's the Donbass, Luhansk and Donetsk, and here's Kharkiv. They're to the north and to the east of it, but they've been completely expelled away from the Kyiv region. And they said that it's an act of goodwill. That's what he said that they did it for.
And Ukrainian delegation. and it was an act of a goodwill just to lift tension from those regions, and in order to show that Russia is really ready to create comfortable conditions for continuation of negotiations.
But it's just
So like this is like people like him, or I guess governments or whatever, are the type that won't take an L. That they'll never admit to a loss, because then it would make them look weak, even though they already look weak. They're doubling down on their weakness to try and show any strength, which makes them look worse. But on their own media, I guess we'll have to find more clips on how they're spinning it. All right, let's go to the very latest and look at some clips. Actually, we can go back down. Let's scroll back a little further. We have an update from John from 13 hours ago. So, because I missed this morning, and I apologize missing this morning, you guys. I was out there yesterday in Minneapolis, and I was not dressed for the weather. I was not dressed for the weather. There was a press conference after Amir Locke, the decision for no charges in the Amir Locke case, and it was raining and it was cold, and I was not ready for it. So we're gonna go through some of the video and clips that I missed that I would have gone through this morning, and we'll start there and then go to the latest. All right. So this is Chernihiv. Chernihiv's up here, and again, Russian forces have been expelled. So we'll get to John. So Russian forces have been expelled in Chernihiv. Here's the Chernobyl region over here, and it's clear from Russian troops, or they're actively clearing it. I'm sure there might be pockets in there, but they're mostly clear. Now we're getting a lot of aftermath videos and reporters able to get in there and take video.
Вот. 360 градусов вокруг меня. Уничтоженное село. Уничтожено просто все. Жилые дома. Сколько слез я сегодня видел. Очень тяжело говорить. Вот это авиабомбы. Это маленькая. В кавычках маленькая. 250-ка. Просто накрыли весь этот район. Черниговщина. Люди остались без ничего. Все, что десятилетиями зарабатывали, не осталось ничего. Причем это были такие массированные бомбардировки, в том числе 8 марта. Вот такие подарочки в кавычках российские власти и армия сделали украинцам. Такая у них спецоперация, как там они ее называют. Вот, подхожу к перекрестку и вижу воронка.
Look at that, that's a crater.
250-й бомбы и вот тонник. Смотрите.
Dang, look at, oh my god, that one's the biggest one he showed. Look how big that crater is. This is Chernihiv. I was concerned about the city of Chernihiv a few weeks ago because Russian forces were encircling it. This is Chernihiv up here. I was really concerned, and that would have been a key city for Russian forces to take because it's the biggest city closest to Kyiv. I mean, you got Zhytomyr, but Russian forces weren't over here. They were bombarding it with artillery, but they were only in Bucha, Irpin, Vorzel. They were in Gostomel. They were up in here, and then to the north. But I was concerned a few weeks ago of them taking this city, which would have been key, but never did. But lots of aftermath there. Look at that crater. There is a closed captioning option. Here you go. I'll show you guys how to turn it on quick on YouTube. We have closed captioning on. It's been a highly recommended request. Here, right on the video we're watching now. Here you're watching. You hear me now? So closed captioning's right here. Or where would you find it on your mobile? You hit the closed caption button, and then you'll see a red. There you go. And then they'll come on your screen. Where's that on mobile? Is it in the same spot? It's in the upper right-hand corner. So on your mobile device, it'll be in the upper right-hand corner next to like a little TV box. It says CC, closed captioning. So you got to turn it on if it's not already on yourself.
Нужно спуститься. Я уже это делал здесь. Сейчас вам покажу. Здесь тропинка безопасная. Вот. Господи, вот так телефон, чтобы видно было. Вот спускаюсь. Вообще здесь ходить нельзя, потому что много заминированных участков, но вот эта тропинка уже проверена. Вот я нахожусь в воронке от авиабомбы тонника.
Look at it. Look at it.
Причем люди рассказывают просто страшные вещи.
What's that like? 50,
Пилоты
what's that like? 20 feet, 25 foot deep.
на предельно малой высоте заходили на истребителях, скидывали по 2 бомбы, разворачивали, шли на второй круг и сбрасывали еще. И вот, пожалуйста, вот такой кошмар вокруг. Вот такие воронки.
And Facebook, you guys also have closed captioning too. It should be automatic. YouTube, sometimes it doesn't automatically put it on. One more time, this is Chernihiv.
Сейчас вам покажу, как выглядит русский мир. Вот, 360 градусов вокруг меня, уничтоженное село. Уничтожено просто все, жилые дома. Сколько слез я сегодня видел. Очень тяжело говорить. Вот это авиабомбы. Это маленькая. В кавычках маленькая. 250-ка. Просто накрыли весь этот район. Черниговщина. Люди остались без ничего. Все, что десятилетиями зарабатывали, не осталось ничего. Причем это были такие массированные бомбардировки, в том числе 8 марта. Вот такие подарочки в кавычках российские власти и армия сделали украинцам. Такая у них спецоперация, как там они ее называют. Вот, подхожу к перекрестку и вижу воронка от 250-й бомбы. И вот тонник. Смотрите. Тонник. Вот так вот масштабы не ощущаются. А для того, чтобы их ощутить, нужно спуститься.
And then here's the one he steps in. Yeah, it works fine. I mean, I think the Facebook closed captioning works a little better than YouTube. The translation sometimes works, sometimes not. But for English closed captioning, it's pretty on point. Like if you turned it on now, you should be seeing my closed captions. But with the translation, it fails. It's still a new software, a new system. I'm sure they'll perfect it eventually. Look at how he steps down into this crater now.
Сейчас вам покажу. Здесь тропинка безопасная. Вот. Господи, вот так телефон, чтобы видно было. Вот спускаюсь. Вообще здесь ходить нельзя, потому что много заминированных участков, но вот эта тропинка уже проверена. Вот я нахожусь в воронке от авиабомбы тонника. Причем люди рассказывают просто страшные вещи. Пилоты на предельно малой высоте заходили на истребителях, скидывали по 2 бомбы, разворачивали, шли на второй круг и сбрасывали еще. И вот, пожалуйста, вот такой кошмар вокруг. Вот такие воронки.
Hey, really quick too, while we have the most people tuned in right now, real fast, if you guys have a Twitter account or Twitter page, follow my media on Twitter. The same username, it looks the same as it does on Facebook and YouTube, so you can't miss it. MMP LLC News. All right, and I posted updates like when I was having issues on YouTube and the stream wasn't working. I wrote a tweet out to just update you guys because I can't. If I posted on YouTube, that would take away a notification for the algorithm. Social media sucks. You have all these followers and subscribers, and you got to do the most to try to get you guys information. So follow on Twitter for sure. Then I'll give you guys updates. Like here, I was resetting the internet. Hopefully it would return. So I was providing updates while I was having issues, and that's one way you can find that. Let's continue on down. We got a bunch of clips to go through, it seems like, from today. We're starting at the earliest and then going to the newest, so we're going to be going through all this stuff that I'm scrolling through right now, for sure. Where's the list? Yep. It was an hour ago. 2 hours ago. Well, we're gonna have to go. That's a lot of stuff. Lots of stuff happened out there today. We'll just go to my main profile then. Lots to go through on the list. You got a UAV video, dude trying to run back to his base, and then they followed him and then destroyed the base that he ran to. All right, we saw the Chernihiv video. Here we go. In Russia, there's a shortage of the most popular contact lenses, AccuView, which account for half of the import of these products to the country. Dang, I used to wear AccuView contacts. That sucks. You're gonna have to wear glasses. If you're used to contacts, it'd be tough. Video, Russian Ministry of Defense posted a 3M-54 Club cruise missile from Russian vessel being launched into the Black Sea towards Ukraine. So this is a Ministry of Defense video from the Russian side. So this is, you can see this is water down here. If you're wondering, like, what are we looking at here? This is the ocean on the ground. This is the sky. There's the horizon. You can see it being shot off the ship. So that was from Russian Ministry of Defense video. Clip of before and after of Saltivka in the Kharkiv region. So this is posted by Oleh. Oh. I don't want to get taken down for music. There you go. Just imagine the word. Just imagine it. Na 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 na. Kharkiv. So there was a before and after. It was North Saltivka. Let's try to see that. It looked like a main road. This looks like about right where it is, huh? Where the buildings look similar. Buildings look similar right there. Might not be the exact spot. This is the neighborhood, though. What's that right here? It's in this neighborhood. These pictures were taken in 2015. So before and after. Yeah, that would, if I left that song play, it would for sure take the stream down. Copyrighted music. Kharkiv, lots of genocide and buildings, just apartment buildings destroyed in this town. This is reported from a ship from the Russian Federation wanted to refuel in Spain and heard this response: Russian ship, go F yourself.
You are asshole from the Putin. Fucking Russian killing in Ukraine. Women in Ukraine killing kids. Fuck you, Russian. Fuck you, Putin. You are asshole from the Putin. Fucking Russian killing in Ukraine. Women in Ukraine Ukraine killing kids. Fuck you, Russian. Fuck you, Putin.
So, signal coming from the Russian Federation wanted to refuel in Spain, and that was Spain's response. Whoever was running the control. A Russian artillery division targeted in Kherson by Ukrainians. So some counteroffensive in the Kherson region. I keep saying it two different ways. Kherson. 17 hours ago, fire. So here's Kherson, one of the bigger cities that Russia still has a foothold in, to the southeast of Mykolaiv. No audio on this one. The trucks are just out there in the field. What's gonna happen? Dang. They're just like sitting ducks in an open field. They like start to disperse a little bit. No audio on this clip. They hit the one. And they get that one. They're hitting targets in the distance too. Wow. So that was a Russian artillery division that was hit. This is an artillery division. It's likely one of the divisions that are shelling Mykolaiv or hitting targets around Mykolaiv. They haven't been able to take this city at all, and they tried. Russian forces tried, because then if they would have taken Mykolaiv, their next objective would have been Odessa. And that failed. They were actually repelled even further back now. One more time on that. Yeah, they're like sitting ducks. Hello from Raleigh, North Carolina. Hello, how you doing? Hello from Jacksonville, Florida. Thank you for those 100 stars, Deborah. They had a direct hit on the one truck here. A direct hit. Hello from Sydney, Australia. Hello, Sydney, Australia. That one. We're like in a wide open field. There's no cover or concealment here at all. All right. Artillery division. What's this here now? Clip. Something burning in Donetsk, separately controlled or separatist controlled area. Something was burning. Nothing really specific on that. Just there was a fire in Donetsk. The Russian Defense Ministry said on Thursday its missiles had destroyed 4 fuel facilities in the Ukrainian cities of Mykolaiv, Kharkiv, Zaporizhia, and Synehubov overnight. Excuse me, not Synehubov, Shuhuiv. Different cities. Sorry, excuse me, different cities. Shuhuiv. So Mykolaiv, Kharkiv, Zaporizhia, and Shuhuiv. Likely these artillery divisions that are out there. This was from the foreign minister Kuleba at NATO headquarters. I call on all allies to put aside their hesitations, their reluctance to provide Ukraine with everything it needs, because as weird as it may sound, but today's weapons serve the purpose of peace. NATO was the Secretary General basically saying that certain countries are only giving defensive weapons, which that's just such an oxymoron. Finland will announce plans for possible NATO membership in the coming weeks. Media reports suggest that Finland may join the alliance as early as this spring, y'all. Finland about to join NATO. Here is the picture of all the countries. The United Nations General Assembly voted on Thursday to suspend Russia from the Humanitarian Rights Council. The voting result was 93 in favor, 24 against, and 58 abstentions. I think the narrative out of Russia is that they quit. I think Russia said that they didn't get fired. I didn't get fired. I quit. So, but 93 countries were in favor. The 24 that were against were Algeria, Belarus, which that's not a surprise there. Belarus is a puppet to Russia. Bolivia, Burundi, Central AFR Republic, not sure where that is. China, of course. The Congo, Cuba, the North Korea, of course. Eritrea, don't know where that is. Ethiopia, Gabon. Iran. Gabon voted against. Interesting. Gabon's representative came out with some strong words in the day prior. Interesting. So many people do this, I guess, in life, where they'll say one thing on a public stage and then do something else when it matters. In politics as well, for sure. Gabon was one of the people that spoke, the countries that spoke out against Russia on Tuesday. And then you have Iran, of course, Kazakhstan, not a surprise, Kyrgyzstan, Laos, Mali, Nicaragua, the Russian Federation, Syria, the Syrian Arab Republic, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Vietnam, and Zimbabwe. So if I'm covering these countries, it's the last one is Zimbabwe, and then Vietnam and Uzbekistan. Those are the countries that are behind my camera image of me right here. And then the abstentions, which means they didn't vote yay or nay, they just stayed out of it, was Angola, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Barbados, Belize, Bhutan, Botswana, Brazil, Brunei, Cabo Verde, Cambodia, Cameroon, Egypt, El Salvador, Eswatini, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Bissau, Guyana, India, Indonesia, Iraq, Jordan, Kenya, Kuwait, Lesotho, Madagascar, Malaysia, Maldives, Mexico, Mongolia, Mozambique, Namibia, Nepal, Nigeria, Oman, Pakistan, Qatar, St. Kitts, Nevis, where is that? St. Vincent, Saudi Arabia, Senegal, Singapore, South Africa, South Sudan, Sri Lanka, Sudan, Suriname, Thailand, Togo, Trinidad, Tobago, Tunisia, Uganda, United Arab Emirates, which I think they're the second in command now. Oh no, they were in charge the month prior. UK is in charge now. The United Arab Emirates were running the council the month prior. The Tanzania. I'm not quite sure what this country is here. Vanuatu and Yemen. They all abstained. You watched it live. So there you go. In favor, against, and abstentions. You can find that on Twitter anywhere if you want to look at the list. We tweeted it out too. If you're looking for that picture, we're getting to John. Stoltenberg, NATO to step up support for Ukraine as a big battle in Donbass is expected. Big battle in the Donbass. Again, that's might play into Russia's hand, in my opinion. Again, opinion time. The Donbass is one of the reasons that Russia's using for invasion, and now that all their forces are in the Donbass again, it's going to be increased propaganda efforts that they've been doing for the last 8 years, and now there's even more attention on it. So even though they're being pushed away from Kyiv, they're being pushed to the east, and I think it's going to bolster Russia's propaganda efforts. So I don't know, we'll see. Big battle in the Donbass coming up. We've seen a few predictions of it. New Kremlin spokesman admits that Russia had significant losses of troops, which we saw. And then now here we are with John's Kyiv diary from day 43. John Sweeney, ex-BBC journalist, now independent journalist in Kyiv.
Kyiv diary, day 43 of Vladimir Putin's war. This is Borodyanka, and this is what the Russian army did to it. To get here, we've driven for 3 hours past... I can't count the number of cars with Yeti, which means children on it, with bullets through the side or the windscreen. Right now I'm looking at some clothes stained with blood. And look at this block of flats behind me. War crime after war crime after war crime. Love from Borodyanka. Kyiv diary, day 43 of Vladimir Putin's war. This is Borodyanka, and this is what the Russian army did to it. To get here, we've driven for 3 hours past... I can't count the number of cars with Yeti, which means children on it.
Borodyanka, so it's 3 hours from Kyiv. And we went there, we saw more video coming out of this city. Borodyanka. More reporters are able to get there now. Here it is. This is the city with the roundabout, with the monument and the roundabout. This one that we went through yesterday was an ABC journalist was down on the ground, and we saw UAV footage. So John's in Borodyanka now. That's where he's at.
With bullets through the side or the windscreen. Right now I'm looking at some clothes stained with blood. And look at this block of flats behind me. War crime after war crime after war crime. Love from Borodyanka.
We can go back if you guys want to see most from the day before. Here, this is from James Longman, ABC correspondent.
Borodyanka, this is northwest of Bucha, and somehow, I didn't know it was possible, but the devastation is even worse. I mean, look at that, that's an apartment building, just sort of chopped in half. The mayor says when this invasion began, Russia actually sent its jets over this town, that they bombed it from the sky, knowing full well that there were civilians here. And the great fear is that as Ukraine retakes more and more land on the way up towards the Russian border, that they'll discover more atrocities, possibly even worse than the ones we've already seen, because Russians were here for that much longer. The other thing about this town is that all you really hear is the sound of crows. There are very few people, because there's nothing for them to come back to. There's nothing really for people to have survived here. We've made it to the town of...
All right, so that's Borodyanka. And they're saying is they're going to see more destruction as they get further north towards Chernobyl. Again, this was from today. We've had significant losses of troops. This is the Peskov admits in an interview with Sky News. Who's let's look what he does really quick. Pesky Peskov. Dmitry Peskov, Kremlin press secretary. He's a Russian diplomat who is the press secretary for the Russian president. Pesky Peskov.
Thousands of troops, you've lost 6 generals, hundreds of tanks and other equipment. It's a humiliation, really, isn't it?
No. It's a wrong understanding of what is going on.
But what is wrong about what I've just said?
Well, nearly everything.
Well, but you've lost thousands of troops, yeah? Let's go through it. You've lost thousands of troops. How many troops have you lost?
We have significant losses of troops, and it's a huge tragedy for us. Now, about 2 regions, Kyiv and the Chernigov regions. So actually, the troops were really withdrawn from that region as an act of a goodwill during the negotiations between 2 delegations, Russian and Ukrainian delegation. And it was an act of a goodwill just to lift tension from those regions, and in order to show that Russia is really ready to create comfortable conditions for continuation of negotiations.
But it's just not true, is it? How?
So you're saying that it was part of the negotiations to ease the tensions, and then to also show that Russia's willing to provide further
to lift tension from those regions, and in order to show that Russia is really ready to create comfortable conditions for continuation of negotiations.
But it's comfortable conditions for continuation of negotiations. Try saying that as many times as you can. I can't even quote that in my head fast. Create comfortable conditions for what?
For continuation of negotiations.
For continuation of negotiations. It's a lot of word salad. 4 killed, 8 wounded, 2 missed in Dnipro-Trovsk region as a result of Russian strikes in the Dnipro. Also, the Senate has confirmed Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court. And that's some more of the world news I want to start incorporating into the coverage every night. Here's what I was talking about earlier. Reports state this Russian soldier ran away from this Ukrainian UAV back to his unit, which was then struck and eliminated by Ukrainian artillery. So the UAV followed him back and then took out the base that he was running to. Fast as fuck, boy. Not quick enough. He looks back and sees that's terrifying. We can see you. Man, being at war would be scary. Now with the drones and the amount of, I'm telling y'all, America, we fought a war against insurgents and not a conventional war here. Conventional war now, and because you got to realize in the last 20 years in Afghanistan and Iraq, the United States didn't fight an enemy that had these capabilities that we're looking at right now. We had to worry about IEDs and how to read a crowd and look at trash piles and shit. Like, imagine having to worry about the fucking dude. Still gotta run. There's the bait. There's the all. Oh my god. He led him right back to it. So you see the guy, then they left him, and you can see the Russian forces here. Look at, hello. Camera right on you. You can see him lifting his weapon. Another guy here. Here they're hiding down here in the whatever trench that they have. Another trench system over here. Wow, he led them right back to the base. They were shooting at it. There's no audio. One more time of this. Wow. So this is their video, so try to show as best we can whenever there's video on each side of the conflict. A lot of it is propaganda from Russia, so it's tough. Video: Russian forces captured a bridge leading to the Azovstal complex in Mariupol city. Ukrainian forces who are dug inside the Azovstal complex have now been cut off from other parts of the city which they control. So this is going to be the conflict against the Azov battalion down there in Mariupol. Mariupol down here. Mariupol is the next city. This city is getting propagandized as hard as the Donbass was. It's the only city left in Ukraine control.
Сидят. И оттуда обстреливают мирный город. В этом комбинате находится огромное количество. Они сейчас вот здесь все, на этом заводе.
I'm Patrick Lancaster with a special report. Right behind me is the plant Azovstal. And this is one of the last strongholds of the Azov battalion.
And this guy is he's a complete Russian Kremlin shill, but like I said, as best we can, I try to show as much from the other side of the conflict as possible and let you guys decide. But he's for sure, this Patrick dude's a Russian Kremlin shill, 100%.
And Ukrainian forces in Mariupol. That block post or checkpoint you see right behind me, if you could call it that, where there's those trucks there, that is the very dividing line of Mariupol. That is Ukrainian territory. This is DPR in Russian territory. Please like, subscribe, share. Remember, I'm an independent crowdfunded journalist. We're going to keep showing you all of the facts. You support my work with the link on the screen or in the description.
He's like a crowd-funded journalist that just promotes Russian propaganda. It sucks, is apparently he was in like the U.S. Navy for a bit.
Making a quick exit because we can tell the Ukrainian Azov servicemen are seeing us right now. This is a fact. So we gotta move on to show more stories. This is a really intense situation. Please like, subscribe, share. Remember.
Oh man, please like, subscribe, share. We're in the middle of a war zone.
And right here, just up the street from that factory.
So let's just show what region is this in? In Mariupol. He's an American that films, he's on the Russian side. He's been in Donbass since 2014 on the Russian side filming, so. And it's Patrick Lancaster. He's got plenty of videos out there if you guys are interested. But again, super, I mean, take it with what you will. He's a super Russian, pro-Russia, Kremlin journalist. So do with that with what you will. All right, what is this here? Not a single hospital stands after Russian airstrikes in the Luhansk region. This one is recently renovated in Rubinzin. This is Russian revenge for Ukrainian rebuilding Donbass after a 2014 invasion. Wow. Not a single hospital stands after Russian airstrikes in Luhansk. One is recently renovated in Rubenzine. This is Russian revenge for Ukraine rebuilding Donbass better after the 2014 invasion. This isn't the first area that we've seen Russian forces target hospitals. It's been all over the country. This was a new one that they built to replace the hospital that was there before, after 2014 kicked off. 26 bodies were found today under the rubble of only 2 buildings in Borodyanka in the Kyiv region, General Prosecutor of Ukraine said. Many more are believed to be there. Russian soldiers destroyed the buildings and shot at rescuers. Many people were left to die slowly. Everything you can't, there's not a, listen, for me, I mean, at this point, 2 weeks or not even a weekend, and Russia wouldn't even admit that this was a war or what they were doing was war, or admit to anything. They haven't told a single truth ever, not once. So how do you believe anything at all that they say? You don't have to. Don't feel guilty for not believing anything they say either. Go into it with an open mind. Okay, when they lie about every single thing, it's like there's a point. This is Russian forces in Mariupol. So this is going to be a Russian video again. So Russia propaganda video or Russia video.
Позиции украинских националистов продолжается. Бойцы Донецкой народной милиции при поддержке российских войск работают в сторону завода «Азовсталь». Украинцы окопались в промышленной зоне. Работали.
Wow. What is that? Whoa, what is that? What is that thing? Is that like their version of a Mark 19? Anyone in the chat know what that is? Does it give a description? No, just video. I wonder, did Rob Lee share what, hold on, I wonder if he always shares what the weapon is. Hold on. We're gonna have to scroll a bit. What was that weapon system? Yeah, look, was that like our version of a Mark 19? Rob Lee always shares the weapon system, so let's go see if he has it. We got videos for days. We have lots of video to go through tonight. There it is. With in Mariupol with the AGS-17 grenade launcher. That's what it is. So yeah, it is our version. It's a grenade launcher. Great value Mark 19. The AGS-17 is a Soviet-designed automatic grenade launcher. That thing looks funky, doesn't it? I think I actually get to, hold on. I think I get to reference one of my own videos again from the military time. I've only been able to a couple times for relevance. But I'll show you guys what shooting a Mark 19 looks like, because I actually got to. I wonder if it's on my Facebook still. So many videos. So you guys understand what a Mark 19 is. That's what we use in the United States Army. Mark 19 video. That was a long time ago. Oh man. No, I can't find it now. I know it's a part of here. I know it's a part of my YouTube video. I made a movie a few years ago about my time in the army in Alaska. I'll show you guys one day. Not right now though. But a half-hour long movie that I made. Where's the Mark 19 range? Goodness. Comment where you guys are tuning in from while you're waiting me to. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I found it. So here's what our marked. I don't have to reference anyone else's videos. I'm going to reference my own. Mark 19 range. This is the system that we use in the army. This is me using it.
5 up. Fire. Go.
I was stationed in Alaska, so that's why it's winter time. That's where I was stationed at. But that's what the U.S. Army uses. We use a Mark 19 system, just like this.
5 up. Fire. Go.
All right. United States version. AGS 17 grenade launcher.
Что позиции украинских националистов продолжается. Бойцы Донецкой народной милиции при поддержке российских войск работают в сторону завода «Азовсталь». Украинцы окопались в промышленной зоне. Работали.
Look at that. Yeah, that Mark 19, we actually had to stop using those in convoys. They used to be the Mark 19, which is the American version of this one that the Russian forces are using. Yeah, they used to mount that on trucks. They used to mount that thing on gun trucks in Iraq and Afghanistan. Definitely a devastating weapon system. I tell you that. It's an automatic grenade launcher. It's got a fly trigger on it, just like the 50 cal.
Очередные бывшие украинские позиции были оборудованы в общеобразовательной простой школе. Здесь вот надо присесть, потому что бой идет на соседней улице. Чуть вдалеке видны трубы Азовстали. Говорят ребята, что уже не так часто сюда прилетают ответные выстрелы от украинских националистов.
Вон трубы, видишь?
Это, собственно, Азовсталь, да?
Да. Но тут через 3 улицы идет бой. Ну, как бы.
Josh said, did that thing have a pole start? It looked like it. We'll go back through the video again. It looked like it had a pull it to start.
Понятно, до Азовстали где-то километра 2-3.
Probably has like a hand crank. You got to crank it on to start. Soviet weapons.
Ну да. Километра 2.
Сожженная украинская техника. Это бронеавтомобиль. Точнее, то, что от него осталось. Сейчас, я так понимаю, украинцы остались только в промзоне и на Азовстале.
И еще вот в частном секторе они тут перемещаются.
Pretty clean shaven for being pretty chilling for being out there, right? Again, you got to keep in mind this is a Russia video. It's a video from the Russian side. This is the best we can do when we can cover the war and show things from the Russia side. It's tough, but so this is that. And someone had asked, what's the effective range of the AGS 17? Range. Ours goes like 800. Ours goes far. 800 to 1700 meters. Effective range 800 to 1700 meters for the AGS-17 grenade launcher. 800 to 1700 meters that thing can go.
Позиции украинских националистов продолжается. Бойцы Донецкой народной милиции при поддержке российских войск работают в сторону завода «Азовсталь». Украинцы окопались в промышленной зоне. Работали.
It does. I'm dead. It does. As a pole start. What is that? What is that? Like a lawnmower? Look at it. You gotta what? Soviet era. So that's the rack, obviously. And on here, I'll show you on the Mark 19 our system. I gotta pull up the video again now. What the fuck? So that's the same. It's how they rack that's how they rack it. In ours, you have it on the sides, so you watch my hands on the side of. Right there, I just pulled it back. They have a pole. They have one that looks like a lawnmower cord.
5 up. Fire.
It's not. It's not a pole start. It's how they chart. It's how you rack the grenade. Or excuse me, rack the belt. You see, you pull back the Mark 19 with 2 hands, and this, I mean, just you got a pull start. I just realized that thing looks like a piece of junk, dude. I ain't gonna lie. Hell no. Looks like it hasn't been serviced since it was created in 19. When was this thing made? In the late 1960s, my God, in Vietnam. That's when it was during the Vietnam War. The U.S. Armed Forces adopted the Mark 19 after that. This was their answer to the Mark 19. Wow. Well, they did it worse. So we had our Mark 19 in the 60s, and then they made that in a response. Alright, so that's the AGS-17. I haven't seen that weapon system, that's why I spent a little extra time going into that. I have not seen that weapon system thus far. I've seen many weapon systems, not that one yet.
Очередные бывшие украинские позиции были оборудованы в общеобразовательной простой школе. Здесь вот надо присесть, потому что бой идет на соседней улице. Чуть вдалеке видны трубы Азовстали. Говорят ребята, что уже не так часто сюда прилетают ответные выстрелы от украинских националистов.
Вон трубы, видишь?
Это, собственно, Азовсталь, да?
Да. Но тут через 3 улицы идет бой. Ну, как бы.
Понятно, до Азовстали где-то километра 2-3.
Ну да. Километра 2.
Сожженная украинская техника. Это бронеавтомобиль. Точнее, то, что от него осталось. Сейчас, я так понимаю, украинцы остались только в промзоне и на Азовстале.
И еще вот в частном секторе они тут перемещаются.
Alright, so that's the AGS-17 grenade launcher that I had seen. Alright, this is from James Vasquez, one of the Americans that are there on the International Legion. He's been fighting there for a few weeks now. He arrived.
This is truly
So this is him. He's talking about the lack of supplies that they have. He said, give us some effing weapons, please. We will not win with trash weapons. We need M16s, M4s, ACOGs, red dots, ammunition. Javelins, fucking old ATs, AT4s I know are probably in a storage unit. Frag grenades. So he served. He knows how storage unit works. And there's weapons just in a Connex somewhere. Like we had 50 cals and weapons and just random trailers in like the back of our motor pool in Alaska. Like there's weapons just everywhere.
Okay, this is truly a plea for help. This is my AK-47. My AK-47 has an ACOG scope on it. It has a reflex sight on top. I provided all this. I bought it. I bought it for my whole team. I bought my front rails. I had somebody custom make the suppressor in the front. I've done this all on my own. Government or Ukraine has not provided anything except for a naked weapon. Okay, I'm going into battle with this. 1, 2, 3 magazines and 1 grenade. Everybody else has 5.45 because most people use AK-74s here. I'm one of the few that has AK-47 with 7.62 rounds. Can't find them anywhere. Can't get another magazine. They expect me to go in battle with all this bullshit and, you know, just my drones, AK-47, and, you know, 1 grenade and nothing else. I don't know where all these weapons are supposed to be coming in from all the rest of our governments. I haven't seen an M16. I haven't seen an M4. I haven't seen anything that really I can use, that I know I can reliably use. Please fucking help and stop saying that you're sending shit and actually send it.
So that's the report he's been there for a few weeks. You guys have seen a couple of his videos through reposts. He's the American that's been on the ground. You can't post often. This was 12 hours ago. Let's see that clown claim this is fake. I guess that's not a Russian tank. So, because there's so many people on the internet that claim that shit's fake.
Buddy.
And he's out there. He's been doing videos. He's on the ground. Yep, he is an American. He fights in the International Legion.
1.
This is James Vasquez. He was a veteran. Now he's fighting in the International Legion in Ukraine.
Yeah, buddy. 1, 2, 3, 4 Russian tanks taken out. Call that a good day. Yeah, buddy. 1, 2, 3, 4 Russian tanks taken out. Call that a good day. Yeah.
All right. So then more from him. He posts like the aftermath videos. He was the one out there saying that we took out a Russian tank. That was a couple weeks ago now. That was a few weeks ago. There's a picture of his ACOG with the reflex sight.
года я был волонтером, я покупал пацанам у Сереги. А в 2017-м...
Вот! Yeah. Artillery shell! Nice! This guy needs a helmet.
И вот ездил на всякие... А сейчас сказал, что...
All right. It's from James Vasquez. He's out there. He's an American out there fighting. American soldier James Vasquez is alive. So there was reports that he was dead. So he's been out there. We've seen his videos.
This is truly a plea for help.
All right. This is the Fox News correspondent Benjamin Hall. He gave an update on his injuries sustained while in Ukraine. To sum it up, I've lost half a leg on one side and a foot on the other. One hand is being put together, one eye is no longer working, and my hearing is pretty blown. But all in all, I feel pretty damn lucky to be here, and it is the people who got me here who are amazing. That's from the Fox News correspondent that had gotten injured. Here's it's been over a week since the attack in Ukraine, and I wanted to start sharing it all, but first I needed to pay tribute to my colleagues Pierre and Sasha, who didn't make it that day. Pierre and I traveled the world together. Working was his joy, and his joy was infectious. Rest in peace. That Fox News team was hit. He was injured, but they lost their camera crew. Here's pictures of Borodyanka in the Kyiv region that we showed. This is the town with the roundabout, with the monument in the middle of it. This town. Just remember the monument here, Borodyanka. You got cleanup crews, fire department there. Going through the rubble now. Clip, Russian forces in Mariupol. So, Russian video, Russian forces. Sorry about that. I didn't know how loud it was going to be. Posted that. All right, let's go now to the latest in the list. That's everything that I retweeted. You jumped. I know. I apologize. Some videos are loud. Some are very quiet. We have updates. Let's scroll to the. Let's keep scrolling back. No, I missed some. Israeli media reports the terrorists who carried out the attack in Tel Aviv has been eliminated. We should just go to Rob Lee's timeline of clips and video. Let's just do that. Rob Lee's timeline. A captured Ukrainian BTR-3 being used by Russian forces. A lot of these, so he takes a lot of the sources from Telegram and then posts it to TikTok, or excuse me, to Twitter. All the T's. Telegram, TikTok, Twitter. Because Twitter's more of the mainstream platform still. Telegram isn't as mainstream as TikTok, but a lot of information is being posted to it. What is this here? Another video of those in the Krasnopol artillery strikes. Video of 3rd Motorized Rifle Division MSTAS artillery crews launching Krasnopol laser guided artillery rounds in the Slovyansk area. Where is that? Donetsk. We're gonna be getting familiar with a lot of eastern Ukrainian cities now, y'all. We're gonna be getting familiar with a lot of these cities, especially in this region. This is a key region for Russian forces to try to seize here. They haven't seized it to this far, but this region in here, you got Rob from Speak the Truth who says yesterday he said in 48 hours. So through this weekend, They're going to be making attempts to try to take this. Russia's going to try to take attempts to take this region. Welcome to Family Size Sweet as Shade. Thank you so much. Welcome. Thank you so much. This is a viewer-funded, viewer-supported stream. I don't have any sponsors, but except for the viewers, you guys. You guys keep the dream alive. Thank you to our members. Thank you to our supporters on Facebook. Thank you to everybody sending super chats and stars. Donate as much as I can. I donated $1,000 of it last month to efforts in Ukraine, so it also helps me continue my own donation efforts towards these efforts. Thank you guys so much for supporting the stream. So, Sloviansk area, in the north of Donetsk. So there's Donetsk, here's Luhansk, and then the red pin is where we're looking at here.
В небе над противником российский беспилотник ищет цели. В это же время артиллеристы на земле снаряжают высокоточные боеприпасы «Краснополь». На каждую цель всего 1-2 выстрела. Беспилотный аппарат, который подсвечивает опорный пункт формирования киевского режима, фиксирует поражение цели.
Части соединения вооруженных сил России.
Look at that now. They got a Z patch. Z patch now, huh? That's wild.
Вести наступательные действия на славянском направлении. Впереди.
Look at that. Obviously, I mean, is this a Russia video too? It's got to be Russia. The whole thing, yeah. The whole thing is start from the beginning. They're wearing Z patches now. It looks like. Hello, how you doing, Samantha?
В небе над противником российский беспилотник ищет цели. В это же время артиллеристы на земле снаряжают высокоточные боеприпасы «Краснополь». На каждую цель всего 1-2 выстрела. Беспилотный аппарат, который подсвечивает опорный пункт формирования киевского режима, фиксирует поражение цели.
Части соединения вооруженных сил России продолжают вести наступательные действия на славянском направлении. Впереди, пожалуй, один из самых мощных укрепленных районов формирований киевского режима на востоке Украины. Славянско-Краматорская агломерация. На протяжении 8 лет вооруженные силы Украины формировали там мощный укрепрайон. Строили бетонные сооружения, фактически закапывались. Противник умело использует рельеф местности и там, где это возможно, обороняется малыми силами. Активно используют авиацию и артиллерию. Несмотря на это, российские мотострелковые соединения, подразделения спецназа идут вперед. Линию обороны вооруженных сил Украины приходится в буквальном смысле разбирать артиллерией. Для этого российские артиллеристы используют высокоточные боеприпасы для того, чтобы минимизировать риски для мирных жителей.
Только за последние несколько дней соединения 20-й и 1-й армии выбили противника из ряда населенных пунктов на славянском направлении до границы Харьковской области Украины и оккупированной киевским режимом территории ДНР чуть более 10 километров. А до Славянска уже километров 40, не более. Противник огрызается танками и артиллерией, постоянно бьет реактивными снарядами. Приходится укрываться в окопах.
Давай.
So that showed how their trench system worked at the end. Z patches seen. And then another video of the Krasnopol air artillery strikes. Guys, we're at 354 likes on YouTube out of 1,000. If we can get back to that goal, it might be hard. Taking 10 days off really hurt the algorithm. Doing the best I can to get back up there. There's the strike. All right, more from Rob. Russian Spetsnaz servicemen with an AK-12, a 1P87 optic, Loa boots, and a Tiger M with an RP377 UVML with a jammer. So he's got a RC IED jammer. I'm talking about what's equipped on the MRAP. You saw that? What's this here? Video of a destroyed Ukrainian S-300 PS air defense system, including 4 TELs and a 5N63S radar. So when he shows the numbers, or we see the numbers and what this is the systems, the weapon systems.
Распиздованные укроповские позиции.
Горела ракетка на.
Братья помогли. Сожгли всю эту дрочь. Давай так, чтобы ебальники не попадали ваши. Вафля кукуруку. Вот такая вот тут была. Фу, ебать, гарью воняет. Разутюжили нахуй все в ухнарь. Была РЛС С-300, блядь. Ракетная установка. Накрыли нахуй все, братья. Огонь.
One more time.
Распиздованные укроповские позиции.
Горела ракетка на.
Братья помогли. Сожгли всю эту дрочь. Давай так, чтобы ебальники не попадали ваши. Вафля кукуруку. Вот такая вот тут была. Фу, ебать, гарью воняет. Разутюжили нахуй все в ухнарь. Была РЛС С-300, блядь. Ракетная установка. Накрыли нахуй все, братья. Огонь.
All right. And then Ukrainian farmer with a Russian BMP-2. Ukrainian farmer video. Okay. Come on. That's like a common TikTok song with the war videos. Even in war, people still need to use the trending sounds. We suck. He's got it hooked up. You can see in the beginning of the video, it's hooked up to his tractor right there. So it is hooked up to his tractor. He's just on it. Oh man, it looks like it sucks in there. Looks like there's nowhere inside of that tank that looks comfortable at all. Look at the seat. Oof, dude. There's the auto-loading system, huh? There's an idea this ring is the auto-loading system in there. Hey, how you doing, Nathan? with wooden armor on the side too. They have wood logs. You can see the wood logs right here. Russian BMP-2. Destruction of a Russian tank by members of Ukraine's 72nd Mechanized Brigade. Oh, tank's right there. Golly. Leave your tank in the open. Dang, dude. Blew the top off. Looks like it. What's this cord here? Or was that just? Well, it was hit. What is this? It was hit. This is part of it, right? Hey, how you doing, Marlene? What's this? This moves afterwards. Was that the wire that they had? You can see the wire. Controlled demolition. They crawled up to it then, huh? Yep. Det cord. You can see the det cord. Wow. Alright. Video of destroyed Ukrainian S-300 PS air defense system, including 4 TELs and a 5N-63S. Did we see this already, though? Yeah, we saw that. We saw that. Seen that. Where are we at? Oh. We're good. Now we're caught up. Two decapitated Russian T-72 B3 tanks. Okay. Decapitated tanks.
Так, село Плоське, Бровського району. Продовжує свій репортаж. Подивіться, що зробили наші Збройні Сили з цими танками, славнозвісними, новими. Нічого від них не лишилося, нічого не буде лишатися.
Тут дна немає, от, блядь, воронка метрова на глибині.
Отак, і вон ще інший, другий стоїть. Збройні сили відпрацювали як потрібно. Слава Україні! Так, село Плоське.
All right, more. Decapitated T-72 Bravo OBR 1989 tank.
А триплекс толщина. Ого. О, пацани, що я бачу? Оцей ломик. Вот. Непонятно только, зачем пилы. Это какой-то стратегический российский удар готовился.
Thank you, Believa. Thank you so much.
А триплекс толщина. Ого. О, пацани, що я бачу? Оцей ломик. Вот. Непонятно только, зачем пилы. Это какой-то стратегический российский удар готовился.
All right. Yesterday, state emergency service began search operations in 2 out of over 10 high-rise buildings in Borodyanka destroyed by Russian airstrikes. 26 bodies were found. Clean up in Borodyanka. We saw that. What's this here? Destroyed MSTAS howitzer in the same area. Of where? Hold on. In the Borovary area. So this is in Borovary. Borovary is over here. Right here. Capital city of Kyiv, and then Borovary. To the northeast. Slightly. You can even call it just east, but slightly northeast of Kyiv. It's in the Kyiv Oblast.
Село Плоське, біля села Світильня, Броварський район. Продовжуємо пекельну кухню. Це ось, бачите, самоходна гаубиця орківська, яку наші Збройні сили просто спалили. Бачите? Спалили зверху, боєкомплект там рванув нормально. Отака історія. Наші Збройні сили покажуть всім, як треба себе вести, що вони тут роблять взагалі, ці орки у нас на Україні. І немає їм тут що робити. Збройні сили молодці. Слава Збройним силам України. Так, шановні українці, доброго дня. Село Плоське, біля села Світильня, Броварський район. Продовжуємо пекельну кухню. Це ось, бачите, самоходна гаубиця орківська, яку наші Збройні сили просто спалили. Бачите? Спалили зверху, боєкомплект там рванув нормально. Отака історія. Наші Збройні сили покажуть всім, як треба себе вести, що вони тут роблять взагалі, ці орки у нас на Україні. І немає їм тут що робити. Збройні сили молодці. Слава Збройним силам України.
Oops. Destroyed MSTA howitzer in the same area in Borovary. Two destroyed T-72B3 tanks. Two destroyed T-72B3 tanks. I wanted the top's off. The top flew off. That auto-loading system. That song. The T-72 Alpha tank added with a cope cage. ERA bricks at Mariupol, presumably in service with DNR forces. Here's a Ukrainian Brem-1 recovering a Russian T-72B tank. Oh, come on, video. Appreciate that, Laura. No, the track's missing too. Ukrainians pulling out a Russian T-72B tank. Pulling it out of a position. It looked like probably had it in a fighting position, destroyed. Ukrainian Brem 1. I've seen that now. What is this video of a captured Russian Tu-S-34 Kosta, an MT-12 Rapira anti-tank cannon, and a BTR-82 Alpha, and a BM-21 Grad MLRS.
Поставили трофейчик, дивіться, гарний, гарний. Заводиться, дерчить. Одної гусінки трошки не хватає. І бика оставили до нього. Будемо через пару днів ним же ж їм і навалювати. Гусіньку зараз привезуть, соберемо. Слава Україні! Доброго дня, ми з України. Ще трофейчики від підарів москалів. Ще раз в очередний раз можу сказати, що вони підараси. Наш рідненький, наш. І куди, коли ми поїдемо? От, друзі, ще одне.
Got the missiles in it still.
Заряджений, готовий к бою. Відремонтували. І будемо передвигатися і бачити підарасів. Слава Україні!
All right. Hey, let's do a viewer check-in quick. Top of the hour viewer check-in. It is midnight. Comment what city, what state, where in the world you're tuning in from. Welcome to Mercado Media. We're covering the war in Ukraine. Been covering it since day one, the very first night of the invasion. I've been watching it since, been tracking it since. I took about 10 days off, so if you've been wondering where I've been, I was moving into my new place. Got a brand new apartment. Live here all by myself. It's way better. Good situation now. I can provide way more coverage and content, newsworthy content to you guys. And then if you guys usually tune into like my video game content and other things, that will be returning next week, as well as likely news coverage of world news and local news in Minnesota in general, in the same way that we're covering Ukraine. There's lots going on in the world, and we can cover other things beyond Ukraine. And I'll just incorporate that into nightly news segments, and that's coming soon. Letting you guys know. So every stream won't be 100% Ukraine, but we'll be covering a lot of it will be Ukraine related. But I'm going to start venturing off into other happenings in the world and figuring out what's going on out here. Long Island, New York, how you doing? Welcome. Chicago's tuned in. Greensboro, North Carolina. We got Lawndale, North Carolina. New Mexico's tuned in. Lufkin, Texas. New Mexico, this is a viewer-funded, viewer-sponsored stream. I'm not sponsored by anyone but you guys, the viewers. Everybody that grabbed a badge on Facebook, thank you. They're offering bonuses right now. Your support is worth 4 months worth of support if you grab a badge on Facebook, a supporter badge. And then everybody on YouTube, thank you so much for becoming members of the channel. It really does guarantee me a monthly, monthly cushion to know that I have supporters and subscribers to be able to get out there from a month-to-month basis and provide news coverage. That's how I got to do it as an independent journalist until I do get sponsors, but I don't have any yet. So we got Denver Mile High is tuned in. Welcome. Brevard, North Carolina. Thank you so much. Snack Squad softball streams. Yes, those will be coming as well. Yeah, I manage a softball team. A men's Division D class softball team. I'll be streaming those during the weekends. Lots of content beyond just newsworthy streams. If you guys are interested, I'll always let you guys know where to go find that if you're interested. Completely optional. St. Clair Shores, Michigan. Welcome. Hawaii's tuned in, and Miami. We got New York, Ontario, Canada, Alberta, Canada. Hi, Andrew. How you doing, Irene? Valencia, California, Anoka, Minnesota. Thank you so much. Alberta, Canada is tuned in. Thank you. Now, just going over some of the overview of today's happenings. And you can find this in the description of our video. Austria expels 4 Russian diplomats. Austria's foreign ministry said on April 7th that they had been conducting activities not, quote, in accordance with their diplomatic status. Russian troops shelled the Kharkiv civilian infrastructure 48 times in the past 24 hours. 3 people had been killed by Russian artillery in the city of Balakliya in the region. Source, the Kharkiv Oblast Governor Oleh Subinov. German intelligence intercepted occupiers' radio messages discussing the killing of civilians in Bucha. German intelligence believes that the killing of civilians could be part of a, quote, clear strategy. Kyiv City Hall bans visiting forests during martial law. The Vyshgorod district administration of the Kyiv Oblast said in March that forests in the district, which is separate from the city, cannot be visited either. Martial law will be enforced until at least April 25th. Almost 90% of the dead civilians in Bucha in the Kyiv region were also found to have bullet wounds, not shrapnel. This was announced by the mayor of the city. The Dnipro mayor, residents not involved in critical infrastructure should evacuate, according to Suspline media. Boris Filatov said that the situation in eastern Ukraine is escalating. Dnipro is a regional capital in central Ukraine that borders the eastern Donetsk Oblast. Whoa, thank you so much, Cleve, with the big $50 super sticker. Thank you, guys. Again, also another way, if you just can't do the recurring monthly support, you guys that are sending super chats and then the stars on Facebook, thank you guys so much. 1 star is 1 penny. So that does really add up. Thank you guys so much for the support of the stream. That is also completely optional. You can watch a Mercado Media stream from here on out and never donate a dime. I'm just glad that you're here tuned in. European Parliament calls for immediate embargo on Russian oil, gas, coal, and nuclear fuel. The resolution also calls for a special United Nations tribunal for Russia's war crimes, excluding Russia from the G20 and other organizations, and stepping up the delivery of weapons to Ukraine. Foreign Minister, the Battle of Donbass will be similar to World War II. So we've seen many reports now, just even in this stream, of the escalation in Donbass, because that's where the Russian forces were expelled to, retreated to. That's where they're heading towards. They're in the eastern region of Ukraine. So many reports suggesting that the Battle of Donbass will be a big one. Big battle. Thank you so much. Whack Milk in the stream. Thank you so much with the $40 donation. Thank you. Missed your streams. Thank you, Whack Milk. Ukraine's military 16 sabotage groups caught in Kyiv in the past 2 days. Alexander Huinchev, Deputy Chief of Staff of Ukraine's ground forces, said that some of members of the sabotage and reconnaissance groups are recruited Ukrainians. Luhansk Oblast Governor Serhiy Hadai's every healthcare facility was shelled and damaged in Luhansk Oblast. Russian forces attack hospitals deliberately so that injured people, quote, do not have a chance to survive, he said. That's coming from the Luhansk governor. Stoltenberg, NATO to step up support for Ukraine as, quote, big battle in Donbass expected. Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said that NATO members are ready to provide more equipment to Ukraine, and they realize the urgency of such deliveries. And you got James Vasquez, who's a soldier on the ground, that says that they need more equipment, more supplies. United Nations General Assembly voted Thursday to suspend Russia from the Human Rights Council. The voting result was 93 in favor, 24 against, and 58 abstentions. The United States Senate voted unanimously today on 2 bills to suspend normal trade relations with the Russian Federation and to immediately ban all Russian oil and energy imports. The House approved both bills last month, so they will now both go to President Biden to sign into law. Over 500,000 people have officially registered as internationally displaced persons in Ukraine since February 24th. Over 4 million Ukrainians fled abroad, while another 6.5 million people are thought to be internally displaced, according to the UN. Zelensky calls for heavy weapons to defeat Russia. President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Russia is ready to use all kinds of weapons against Ukraine, including nuclear, if it sees that Ukraine and its supporters are weak. 26 bodies were found today under the rubble of only 2 buildings in Borodyanka in the Kyiv region. General prosecutor of Ukraine said many more are believed to be there. Russian soldiers destroyed the buildings and shot at rescuers. People were left to die slowly. Irpin mayor announces 3-day curfew. Mayor Alexander Markashun announced that the curfew in Irpin will last from 9 p.m. on April 7th until 9 a.m. on April 11th. Entrance into the city will be closed, and you can find that in our description. That's just our compilation of the top news stories of the day, and you can always find that in the description of our videos. Thank you guys again so much for choosing Mercado Media to tune in. Let's get back into it. Independent media, frontline journalism when I can be out there myself. I was out there yesterday for a press conference in relation to the no charges filed against the officer involved in killing Amir Locke. We had covered that story since the beginning of that, and we've been waiting for a decision. And so I was out there for a press conference with that, but I will be out there plenty in the coming months. There's another trial which will be streaming as well. I should let you guys know that. The trial of the other 3 officers involved in the murder of George Floyd here in Minneapolis. I'll be covering that trial. So that'll be during the daytime. So if you guys are tuned in, you guys want to watch a court trial, I'll be streaming that, as well as I'll be out there on the ground covering any protests or any happenings around it. And then beyond that is the congressional midterms. We have midterm elections coming up, so there'll be lots of political events, likely protests and marches and counter protests and all that type of stuff. It's just the way our country is now. So there'll be lots of boots on the ground, frontline journalism to provide in the coming months. You won't just be seeing me sitting here at home. That's for sure. That's what I'm getting to. So captured Russian MSTAS howitzer. So we got a captured Russian howitzer.
У нас ще, блядь, кукуруза не убрана. Зато убрали саушку. Каточок роз'єбався, гусляв репла, спустило колесо. Тепер, блядь, дивіться, що було в саушці.
Wow. They stole a kid's toy with the price tag still on it, looks like.
Єбаний він в рот, блядь. Такая вот хуйня. Пидорасы, блядь. У нас ще, блядь, кукуруза не убрана. Зато убрали саушку. Каточок роз'єбався, гусляв репла, спустило колесо. Тепер, блядь, дивіться, що було в саушці, блядь. Єбаний він в рот, блядь.
Wow. And then what do we got here? Video of a destroyed or abandoned Russian equipment in Moschun. So Moschun, that's the city with the pine tree. The pine with the white picket fence around the pine tree. Likely it's going to be in the water. So if it's in the, where is it? It's in a, it looks like it's in a body of water. Most Chun. This town. I have it down now. The one with the heart. With the fence, and that white picket fence and this pine tree is still there. The heart isn't there, but it's the video that came out of what it looks like now. Is the whole area is completely destroyed. There's not completely, I should say. The buildings are still standing, but they're inserviceable. But that pine tree and the fence is still there. So this is most Chun, likely in one of the bodies of water around. Bridge collapsed or blew it up. It's a bad day. Now the turret open. What is this system here? This is a pontoon bridge, BMD vehicles, and an IMR-2. What is that thing? Is that what is that an IMR-2? That's not what we're looking at. Is it a Brem 1? Is that what it is? I haven't seen that. That looks a little bit more like what we're looking at. Armored recovery vehicle. I got an armored recovery vehicle that needs recovering. The Brem 1 armored recovery vehicle. That's really zoomed in. Recovery vehicle that needs some recovering. A bridge builder. Ain't building too many bridges. You need the Wisconsin duck boats. The Wisconsin Dells duck boats. Looks like a swamp inhabitor now. Yeah, you're right. That's one of the pontoon bridges, the mobile bridges that you can build. Wow. How long is the war going to be? Well, it's been going for 8 years already. just now, since February 24th, been an invasion. Full scale. So definitely, I mean, we'll see what happens with the midterm elections, but if there isn't any accountability for Putin or the Kremlin now, I bet you this is going to go until the 2024 presidential election for the United States. This might be a couple years still, y'all. They've been going for 8 years already. I don't know. It's definitely going to continue for months beyond now. It's not going to be done anytime soon. It's more of the vehicles that were left out in the water. It's got destroyed, what is it, Ukrainian? Actually, hold on, so he corrected himself. So actually it looks like an IMR 3M, an additional destroyed VDV BM2. So this is in most June. And destroyed Russian BMD vehicles, some more. It's all coming out of most June. There's no audio. You guys are seeing member badges. They're Sour Patch Kids. So you have the private rank, and then you work your way up in colors as you remain a member on YouTube. Your badge will change. So the first one's purple, then it goes to blue, then green, then you get, because the channel used to be named something else. It used to be Snack Squad on YouTube. So that's why they're Sour Patch Kids, because it was the Snack Squad. I might revise those. I'm not sure yet, but they're member ranks. However long you guys remain a member of the channel, you get a new one. Up until the 2-year mark, and then that's the last badge. Did you see the video of the Russian troops abandoned by their unit? Trucks leaving off, guys. Send all videos and clips into our Discord server if you have any, and I'll pull them up. Comment in our Discord server. You got to become a member to have a badge, Margaret. Oh, you don't. I mean, you don't have to do anything. It's optional, but if you would like a badge, then the requirements are to become a member. The first one you get is a chevron. You're a private. One single chevron. There's more pieces of the bridge. Do they even put the Z on the bridge pieces too? No, that's a V. I know, right? There's more destroyed Russian BMD2 and a CAM AZ truck for carrying pontoon bridge links. Shallow water. I know, look at the oil in there. Yeah, that's all oil around it in the water. Bad for the environment. As if, I mean, the whole entire war is bad for the environment in general. The amount of just the thermobaric weapons being used and the hypersonic weapons, the fog of war, the artillery shellings, the smoke in the air. Mark, you gotta. Putin wants to rejoin the Soviet Union. They had a diet control over Ukraine before Ukraine ousted the old president, and then Zelensky was elected. So even though Ukraine was like its own country, it was very much a puppet government to Russia, and then now they are no longer a puppet government. Like Belarus, for example. Belarus was basically like what Ukraine was like. They're their own country, sure, but they're a puppet to Russia. As you can see, I mean, as we've seen, Russia on its own sucks. Russia's forces, Russia's military is terrible. So they likely need all the resources and militaries of these countries. All right, so you guys said that there's a new update from John. Oh, my Twitter is just not updating. Come on, Twitter. Oh, is my internet being slow right now? Come on now. Let's check the Discord. You guys sent a link to it. Oh, my stuff's loading slow right now. What in the world? Why pay for gigabit? Why do you charge me for gigabit internet when I don't even get that? There we go. There we go. All right. There we go. Now everything loaded. We're good to go. So lots of updates from John. What? John's in Borodyanka this morning. What time is it? It'd be 8:24. It's 8:24 in the morning. Lots of updates from John. He's in Borodyanka. At a park right there next to the apartments. Thank you, Terry, for the shares on Facebook. Thank you, everybody, for interacting. Make sure you like the stream if you haven't. Smash the like button. Make sure you go and follow John on Twitter. John Sweeney Roar in his reporting.
Our rescue services, the emergency services, they're still checking the garbage. Our rescue services, the emergency services, they're still checking the garbage.
Borodyanka. Apartments. In Europe, they call them flats. So whenever you hear like a flat, that's like an apartment. In the United States, we call them an apartment. Before we continue, what do we got here? Video of Western Military District Commander Colonel General Alexander Zuralov awarding soldiers who fought in Ukraine. The Eastern and Central Military District commanders were previously videotaped presenting medals to soldiers. So you got Western Military District Colonel General Alexander Zuralov awarding his troops that fought in Ukraine. Russian soldiers getting Russian awards. I see some of them have the special Z ribbon on. So this band is the orange with the black lines going through it, which is another band that I've seen from Russians. And this one is like the politically backed symbol that is pushing for Z. They're like a super hyper right wing group that was like a very like a pro Putin party, like Putinists basically. This orange and black symbol, but they've changed that ribbon and the colors into the Z now, so it forms the Z, and a few Russian soldiers have it on their arm. They don't have the white or the red. It's the orange one.
Медали ордена. Заслуги перед Отечеством.
So Russian soldiers getting awards. Gross. That's a shit. Borodyanka, Russian soldier shit in the kitchen. I mean, don't really need to look at a shit on the screen, but there's a shit there in the towel. They shit in the kitchen. Russian soldiers loot in Borodyanka. So John's in Borodyanka right now. That is the city with the roundabout. So what was it? A few days ago they were in Bucha, right? They're in Bucha getting video and seeing the aftermath, and now they're a little further in Borodyanka. A little bit further to the west now. So every day they're getting a little bit more further to the west, seeing what these regions look like now. That's to the east. Borodyanka. That's the roundabout city. I'll just refer to it as the roundabout city so you guys will remember. Oops, that's definitely not where we need to go. The city with the monument and the roundabout. Thank you, Diane. Thank you for joining the channel. Borodyanka. Video in the last 2 days now coming out of here.
Evidence of looting. Hold on a second, one voice please. This is evidence of looting. Handbag, jewellery box. I smashed down the doors. I walked through into the kitchen. You can see, I remember this place wasn't that smashed up by the rockets. It's been smashed up by looters. There's a calendar with a cat. And there's a little heart. Home sweet home. So this is evidence of looting. Hold on a second, one voice please. This is evidence of looting. Handbag, jewellery box. I smashed down the doors. I walked through into the kitchen. You can see, I remember this place wasn't that smashed up by the rockets. It's been smashed up by looters. And there's a calendar with a cat. And there's a little heart.
I don't know, what is that? I can't read any of that, but it's like a...
Home sweet home.
Somebody's house. Showing looting by the Russians and that they shit in their kitchen on the floor. State-owned news channel Russia 24 showed how Ukrainians prepared a dummy to fake war crimes. In fact, this video shows a TV crew setting up for a scene in Russia. Oh, so a state-owned news channel called Russia 24 was showing allegedly how Ukrainians are preparing for a dummy to fake war crimes, but in fact, the video itself from this excerpt, I wish they would start posting the clips and not just like a headline. So it was a Russia video from a TV crew setting up for a scene in Veselovsk in Russia. So it's a Russian video that they did, but they're using that footage as if it's from Ukraine because there's ignorant people and they'll just believe it. Here's more from Borodyanka from John. I mean, this is the Sun video. Yeah, we have it's a no smoking apartment, so I can't have inside safety meetings. I can have a vape, but I don't have one of those yet. I'll have to pick one up this week. So I have my safety meetings before and after the stream. It's still a 420 friendly stream. That hasn't changed. I just obviously can't smoke in here. So, oh, no problem. Here is a video from the Sun. Russian soldiers abandoned by a fleeing comrade's truck, leaving them stranded. I'm trying to run after it. He fell. It's not nicotine, Laura. I don't smoke nicotine. I quit that. It's 420. I don't smoke cigarettes. Or I did when I was younger. I haven't done it in over a year now. When I was younger, I did like when I was in the military, but I don't use nicotine anymore. What is this of now? Farewell to Russian ultranationalist Vladimir. Oh, there's a funeral for Vladimir Zhirinovsky. I don't know who that is. What is it? Who is he? He's having a funeral in Russia today. Russian ultranationalist politician and leader of the populist Liberal Democratic Party of Russia since its creation in 1992. He was a member of the State Duma in 1993, leader of the LDPR group in the State Duma from 1993 to 2000. He served as deputy chairman of the State of Duma from 2000 to 2011. He also worked as a delegate in the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe. All right, so that's who that's for. And we got John Sweeney reporting. Let's go to Speak the Truth. We can go to Speak the Truth video, unless there's any more from the Sun. Their clips are fine. Ukrainian emergency services search for survivors. We saw that. Russian tanks taken out by Ukrainian fringe battalion. Is that what they're calling the Azov battalion, the fringe battalion now? So footage from the Azov and the Russian forces. Likely in Mariupol if they're fighting here. They don't give a location. Wow, you can look at even the shots that ricochet off the ground. Oh my goodness. That's a Russian tank column hit. You guys see the rounds ricocheting off the street? Right up into the sky that missed? They're tracers, not lasers. They're tracer rounds. So you see where your rounds are going. One more time. We need decriminalization and legalization of weed. You know, way in hell, there's people in jail for marijuana serving more time than people that have murdered, or I guess in the court of law, you can't say murdered if they weren't convicted of murder, but killing another human being. You get more time in jail for that. For some are in jail for weed offenses, which is ridiculous. Wow. It's like every 3 to 5, what is it? Every 3 to 5 have the tracer. Where is this location? Mariupol. If it's the Azov. What do we got here? First Australian Bushmaster combat vehicles to deploy for Ukraine. What's this? ABC News.
Well, these are the first 3 of...
So we got an ABC News Australia report of the first 20 Bushmaster combat vehicles that will depart Australia today, bound for Ukraine. So this was posted on the 7th. So you got Australian Bushmaster combat vehicles. Any Australians in the chat?
20 Bushmasters that Australia is sending to the Ukraine. Bushmasters are essentially a massive armoured military truck, think an even bigger military Hummer. Now, here at the Amberley Air Base, we saw the first 3 of those Bushmasters loaded onto the back of a cargo plane. That will leave for Europe sometime today. Now, the Bushmasters will be dropped at an unknown destination in Europe where they'll be taken to the Ukraine. How exactly we're planning to do that, we don't know. Minister Dutton said this morning that information was classified for the safety of the cargo and, of course, of the troops involved. What we do know is that the remaining 17 Bushmasters will be ferried over to the Ukraine on 5-day turnarounds. Each one will be repainted and branded with a Ukrainian flag. That's been done to the 3 this morning as well.
I love the fact that it's got a kangaroo on it. Look at what is like their version of is this a C-130 still? I don't know if Australia has the same planes, but they got the roo on there.
Well, on a fairly quick turnaround, might I add, given the fact that the Ukrainian president only asked for these Bushmasters last week. Now, like I said, these Bushmasters are armoured trucks. They'll be used over in the Ukraine for military transport. The Ukrainian ambassador was keen to emphasise they won't be used for offensive warfare. They're purely a defensive tool. We asked Peter Dutton if Australia was open to the idea of sending more weapons or supplies to the Ukraine this morning. He said this.
If there's a requirement to provide more support, then Australia is prepared to consider all of that. There's obviously been a lot of humanitarian support that we've provided. There'll also be a big ask of the developed world to contribute to the rebuild within the Ukraine, the shelling of residential areas, the destruction of facilities, of government buildings, of all of that infrastructure, which has been the second tragedy, followed obviously by the human tragedy. It'll take a lot of money and support to rebuild, and Australia will be there with Ukraine during that stage as well. And we hope that we can get through the war stage into the rebuild stage as quickly as humanly possible.
And touching back on how important these Bushmasters are, they were credited with saving countless lives in Afghanistan, and to take away the feeling, in fact, here this morning from both the Ukrainian ambassador and Minister Dutton was that there's hope that it can do the same again in the Ukraine, and that's ferry civilians and soldiers to their destination safely in a country that's going through almost unimaginable turmoil.
The Australian Bushmaster.
The Bushmaster is an 11-ton 4x.
Hold on. Go back inside. So it looks similar to like a Cayman. No. Go back. My bad.
Ton.
Looks similar to like the Cayman.
The Bushmaster is a.
Look at how much room you got for soldiers in there. You got one, two, three, just six seats in there in the back.
11-ton 4x4 protected vehicle. It's designed to provide battlefield mobility to up to 10 soldiers by providing the mine blast protection and ballistic protection.
You can fit 10 soldiers in there.
The vehicle is armoured from the toe to the tail and has a deep V underbelly that is providing mine blast protection and deflecting the blast of a landmine or an IED away from the soldier. The vehicle is ballistically protected all over from small arms and machine gun fire, and it provides high levels of cross-country mobility with a powerful driveline, 6-speed transmission, independent suspension with central tyre inflation, allowing the vehicle to cross rough terrain. And
is that an MTS system it looks like on there? You got an outside the vehicle's computer system on there.
Travel long distances. So this vehicle, weighing at about 11 tonnes with a 4-tonne payload, is different from most of the other products out there because this was designed as a fighting vehicle from the outside. It's built like an armoured vehicle. This is not a box on a truck like an MRAP with a commercial driveline. This vehicle was designed as an off-road and military vehicle from the very day it was designed.
Wow, you can drive that thing. You can. I'm fast as fuck, boy, in that thing. You take the Cayman that we have, the MRAP is very top heavy. You can't be driving through you can drive like a Mat V like that. You can't, I mean, some of the MRAPs are top heavy. You can't be maneuvering that fast or the vehicle will tip.
The very day it was
that thing's which seems like it'd be the perfect vehicle for the terrain that we're seeing in Ukraine right now too. With the season, what is it, like a breakup season with the snow, and it's getting warm, so it's lots of mud out there. The terrain is muddy, so this thing will be able to. This thing's perfect for what Ukraine needs.
As an off-road and military vehicle from the very day it was designed. So it has a fully protected drive line, so it is less vulnerable to going off-road, it's less vulnerable to battle fire. It has more efficient use of space to provide more room for the soldiers in the vehicle, and has more payload to carry more armour, more weapons and more equipment for long-range mission profiles. The Bushmaster has been a global success for us. We have over 1,100 vehicles delivered and in service. They're in service with the Australian Army, the British, the Dutch, the Japanese, the Jamaicans and the Indonesian Army. They're used by...
And now the Ukrainian Army. When was this video made? 2016. The driver has a system too to use? What? Look at that. The driver has a system. Wow, that's unheard of for United States Army.
Both Green Army.
The driver has comms, and the driver, you can have the headset on for in-vehicle comms when you're in for the U.S. military, but you don't have the driver with the computer system next to him. Interesting.
Force units with these organisations in a variety of roles, from troop carrying to...
Gotta have the hat back there. Look at it, they both do. Unless it's just a screen showing what the... Let's see if he says what that is.
Ambulance, recovery and repair, and a myriad of other functions on the battlefield to support armies around the world doing their operations. The vehicles have had operational service in Iraq, Afghanistan, and now most recently in Mali, where they've met armies' needs, whether it's been the Dutch or the Australians, or in future customers, the ability to provide that protection to soldiers and keep them safe from harm.
Effectively, it's an amazing vehicle for the Australian Army.
That's awesome. Look at the hat.
We've used it also in training back home. I guess the three key things we've seen is obviously the amazing protection that it offers, including when I was blown up by an IED. Secondly, the communication suite that's in it has enabled a lot of our command functions, and also it's amazing operational mobility, which has been very good.
So you got there's security cameras, or there's cameras around the vehicle. Even on the computer, you can see it. But I wonder if inside here, the truck commander, the passenger, can send the driver the locations where they need to go, so they can look on screen. Dang, this is an expensive piece of equipment right here. There's lots of technology on this thing.
Whether it's been the
and it can maneuver through this type of terrain.
Or the Australians, or in future customers, the ability to provide that protection to soldiers and keep them safe from harm.
Effectively, it's an amazing vehicle for the Australian Army. We've used it also in training back home. I guess the three key things we've seen is obviously the amazing protection that it offers, including when I was blown up by an IED. Secondly, the communication suite that's in it has enabled a lot of our command functions, and also it's amazing operational mobility, which has been very good. I guess the two other key takeaways is something that we continue to use the vehicle in a range of roles and has broader utility. And I guess adaptability as well. All our lessons that we learn on the vehicle, we keep working with Thales in partnership to ensure that we get a better product and a better operational outcome, which is very good.
So that's the where was the update? Where did that update come from? Australia Bushmaster combat vehicles to depart for Ukraine. So that's what it is. Let's look at the report one more time then. I'll pull up the report. That's the vehicle that Australia is sending to Ukraine.
Well, these are the first 3 of 20 Bushmasters that Australia is sending to the Ukraine.
One more time.
Bushmasters are essentially a massive armoured military truck. Think an even bigger military Hummer. Now, here at the Amberley Air Base, we saw the first 3 of those Bushmasters loaded onto the back of a cargo plane. That will leave for Europe sometime today. Now, the Bushmasters will be dropped at an unknown destination in Europe where they'll be taken to the Ukraine. How exactly we're planning to do that, we don't know. Minister Dutton said this morning that information was classified for the safety of the cargo and, of course, of the troops involved. What we do know...
That's a C-17. So they don't have so that was a crucial part of the report there. Listen to that.
Plane that will leave for Europe sometime today. Now, the Bushmasters will be dropped at an unknown destination in Europe where they'll be taken to the Ukraine.
So they'll be dropped in an unknown location, which then they'll be handed off to Ukraine.
How exactly we're planning to do that, we don't know.
How exactly they're planning to do that, they don't know. And then the information wasn't released. So this truck's going to somewhere in Europe. It sounds a lot like the jet deal that didn't happen with the United States and Poland. I don't know.
Minister Dutton said this morning that information was classified for the
We'll see, though. Got to keep track of this. Australia sending these vehicles to Ukraine.
Safety of the cargo and, of course, of the troops involved. What we do know is that the remaining 17 Bushmasters will be ferried over to the Ukraine on 5-day turnarounds. Each one will be repainted and branded with a Ukrainian flag. That's been done to the 3 this morning as well, on a fairly quick turnaround, might I add, given the fact that the Ukrainian president only asked for these Bushmasters last week. Now, like I said, these Bushmasters are armoured trucks. They'll be used over in the Ukraine for military transport. The Ukrainian ambassador was keen to emphasise they won't be used for offensive warfare. They're purely a defensive tool. We asked Peter Dutton if Australia was open to the idea of sending more weapons or supplies to the Ukraine this morning. He said this.
If there's a requirement to provide more support, then Australia is prepared to consider all of that. There's obviously been a lot of humanitarian support that we've provided.
Australian Bushmaster, how much is a Bushmaster per vehicle? How much does how do you spell it properly? Bushmaster. Pretty simple name for the Bushmaster. No, Bushmaster. Oh. 20 Bushmasters cost 50 million in Australian dollars, which is 37 million. How much is one? Unit cost 500,000 to 2.4 million. So I'm guessing the fully capable ones with all the technology and the satellite capabilities, and if it's fully decked out, you're getting it's 2.4 million, but it's 500,000 minimum.
There'll also be a big ask of the developed world to contribute to the rebuild within the Ukraine, the shelling of residential areas, the destruction of facilities, of government buildings, of all of that infrastructure, which has been the second tragedy, followed of obviously by the human tragedy. It'll take a lot of money and support to rebuild, and Australia will be there with Ukraine during that stage as well. And we hope that we can get through the war stage into the rebuild stage as quickly as humanly possible.
And touching back on how important these Bushmasters are, they were credited with saving countless lives in Afghanistan, and to take away the feeling, in fact, here this morning from both the Ukrainian ambassador and Minister Dutton, was that there's hope that it can do the same again in the Ukraine, and that's ferry civilians and soldiers to their destination safely in a country that's going through almost unimaginable turmoil.
All right. So that's a deal with Australia and some country in Europe that they don't know if sounds a lot like the jet deal that didn't go through. Let's go to the latest and see what we got going on here. We got to check out Speak the Truth. Whoa, a siren in Lviv, in the Kyiv Oblast. All clear. So there's a siren in western Ukraine. Photo from Ukraine's 95th Air Assault Brigade reportedly of a destroyed Russian tank. Air raid sirens in all the towns and cities of the Synehubov region. Everyone asked there to stay cover. So you got sirens in Synehubov, and that's probably just, oh my god, to scare them. They were pushed out of that whole region. Chernihov's up here. More destroyed Russian vehicles in the Kyiv region.
Село Кулашинці на окраїні села. Відпрацьована Збройними силами України. Підбита техніка БМП-2 орків. Знищена вщент. Історія та сама. Вигоріло все. Башню просто зірвало. Наші Збройні сили молодці. Виконують свою роботу на відмінно. Просто молодці. Подивіться. Бачите? От така історія. Так буде з усіма. Село Кулашинці на окраїні села. Відпрацьована Збройними силами України. Підбита техніка БМП-2 орків. Знищена вщент. Історія та сама. Вигоріло все. Башню просто зірвало. Наші Збройні сили молодці. Виконують свою роботу на відмінно. Просто молодці. Подивіться. Бачите? От така історія. Так буде з усіма. Село.
All right. So this is this is that video that I was referring to, that next I was hoping was going to share the clip. To all those continuously religiously spreading Putin regime propaganda while adding crimes or crimes and consistently confirming the existence of imaginary, quote, war crimes and other bullshit, here's a video from a movie set that's being shared by them as Ukraine war crimes. So this was a Russian video in a Russian city in which Russian state TV said that this was Ukraine staging war crimes in Ukraine, when it was really a Russian video crew literally staging of a scene in Russia.
Так идет подготовка к театру, в прямом смысле этого слова, военных действий на Украине. Как видно, вполне себе незамысловато. Двое людей в военной форме тщательно обматывают манекен скотчем и, очевидно, собираются его выдать за труп. Впрочем, это неудивительно. Десятки фейков с подобными манекенами регулярно появляются в украинских телеграм-каналах. О таких постановках мы не рассказываем. Так идет подготовка к театру, в прямом смысле этого слова, военных действий на Украине. Как видно, вполне себе незамысловато. Двое людей в военной форме тщательно обматывают манекен скотчем и, очевидно...
All right, payments for Russian gas in rubles will be considered a circumvention of sanctions, said the head of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. Looking forward to Kyiv. So, looks like the head of the EU's heading to Kyiv. Ursula von der Leyen. We're going to Kyiv. Good on you. Looking forward to Kyiv. So destroyed. We saw that video. You can check John. We got about another, 15 minutes, 17 minutes left or so, guys. I apologize. I was late an hour. My feed was not loading. I tried 4 times to go live at 9 o'clock and it wasn't working. So anytime that I'm late, I add on to the end of the stream. So that's why it's almost 1 in the morning and we're still going. But I usually end about midnight. Here's Borodyanka.
Our rescue services, the emergency services, they're still checking the garbage. Our rescue services, the emergency services, they're still checking the garbage. Our rescue services, the emergency services, they're still checking the garbage.
All right, then let's check out Rob's video. There's 1420, a good 1420 video. Oh, yep. This was posted 9 minutes ago. This is a good one. Russians watch videos from Bucha. Wow. So anybody that's been tuning in, we're not gonna replay the clips, but the absolutely graphic videos coming out of Bucha and the civilians that were just massacred there in the last few days. I mean, it didn't happen in the last few days. The videos have came out in the last few days, and that's also what inspired the NATO and Western countries to increase sanctions. And so this channel is a Russian. He's a Russian citizen. I don't know how the government hasn't shut him down yet, because he's asking Russians questions that we're interested in. And that's his channel. He's on a propaganda channel. He'll even censor out Russians' answers or censor them if they're giving answers that would get them in trouble with the Russian government, because you can't answer questions a certain way. You can't say certain words. You can't. That's just how Russia is. You can't even say war, or you have a risk of getting thrown in jail. So this is 1420 YouTube channel. Go subscribe. Go like the video afterwards.
Вы что-нибудь про ситуацию в Буче?
Буче?
Да.
Ну, я изучал разные источники.
Ну а что в целом думаете?
Мне кажется, имеет смысл говорить о том, что это провокация.
Я не знал об этой ситуации.
Честно, не могу по существу ответить, извините.
Это все построено, потому что я видел видео, ну там скидывали в Телеграме. Камера, едет БТР, там трупы валяются. И когда кадр заканчивается, труп поднимает руку. Вот, поэтому я думаю, что это все информационная война.
Мне кажется, у нас несоответствие фактов. Я вот что думаю. Верить одной и другой стране я не намерен, поэтому я просто отстранился от всей этой истории, потому что иначе можно потечь крышкой.
Ну, во-первых, насколько я знаю, было, когда ушли сначала русские войска, туда вошли украинская милиция. И никаких трупов там не находили. Через пару дней входит Нацгвардия, и почему-то пошли трупы. Поэтому есть сомнения, конечно. Я считаю, что это все-таки провокация украинских.
Я считаю, что пиздец. Да. Ну, во-первых, так. А во-вторых, что это ужасно.
So like you see, like that guy thought it was Ukrainian provocation. So you get true answers.
Не может такого быть в 21 веке. Не должно. И просто забирать жизни людей, это ненормально, и тем более такими способами.
То есть украинцы сами расстреляли женщин, детей, изнасиловали?
Нет, конечно. Нет. Мы не можем знать наверняка, но если бы не было нападения, то в любом случае этого бы не было. То есть даже если вы говорите, что это украинцы сами сделали бы они это, если бы они были в безопасности.
Но по этому поводу я вообще ничего не могу сказать, потому что я не верю телевидению вообще, потому что СМИ у нас говорят одно, у них говорят другое, и это игра политиков. Вот, в принципе, я вообще против войны во всем мире, не только между Россией и Украиной, а вообще, в принципе, любой. И всем желаю ясного, мирного, доброго неба над головой.
А что вы думаете по поводу ситуации в Буче?
Я вообще не слежу за политикой. Особенно за спецоперации. Не, серьезно, не следим вообще.
Украинские и западные СМИ.
Мать, это они бежали просто.
Мирные жители якобы расстрелянные российскими военными. Так это подается аудитории.
Знаешь, что я думаю про эти видосы? То есть слишком много фейков, поэтому я не верю ни тем, ни другим. То есть ты там смотришь, да, на следующий день это уже фейк. То есть поэтому я перестал вообще следить за этой темой, потому что больше сейчас информационно идет вот это со всех сторон. Так что я оградился от этой темы, и все.
Есть позиция, то, что якобы русские убивают украинцев в Буче, вот, и это фейковая информация. А есть позиция, вот, что это сами украинцы это устраивают.
Ну вот в том-то и проблема. То есть смотри, это настолько, во-первых, так далеко, и я в этом не эксперт, поэтому я не смогу даже сказать, правда это, неправда. И...
Мне кажется, что все распространяют фейки, и я не знаю, чему верить до конца.
И завалены мертвыми телами мирных жителей. На этих кадрах вообще нет ничего такого, что уже на следующий день начнут распространять и украинские, и западные СМИ.
Что я могу сказать? Настоящая пропаганда. Нас только просто, как сказать, наших, так сказать, хотят выставить. Люди вон страдают, умирают столько вон, и смертей. Это все из-за чего?
Зачем им это все нужно, как считаете?
А кому это надо? Никому это не нужно. Война, она ничего хорошего никому не приносит. Мы люди, все мирные, мы живем спокойно. Зачем это нам нужно, лишние вот эти вот проблемы? Кому-то нужно для расширения каких-то территорий.
Это война, что ли, показывает это?
Буче вот события были.
Ну, вот я говорю, конечно, я против этого всего.
Ну, вообще, вот конкретно про этот город не слышали ничего?
Нет, людям делать нечего. Думают, ну вот разрушили дом, ну что они от этого получили?
Да. А есть мнение, то, что сами же украинцы все устраивают?
это все это набрали, это такие вот, как вот во время войны также немцы были, одни были не убивали, а другие убивали.
Якобы расстрелянные российскими военными, так это подается аудитории. Как обычно, виновные назначены.
Про ситуацию в Буче что-нибудь слышали?
Ну, если честно, нет. Я не особо стараюсь как бы следить, в принципе, про это, потому что, ну, я считаю, что как бы пропаганда, да, она идет со всех сторон, то есть и с нашей стороны, и со стороны Украины, со стороны США, то есть как бы мы, как бы простые граждане, мы не знаем правду, мы не знаем все ситуации, поэтому это обсуждать как бы бессмысленно. Я считаю, что время покажет.
Якобы российская армия там всех расстреляла.
Блин, я считаю, что, ну как я к этому отношусь, да, ну, это обычная как бы пропаганда, то есть каждая сторона преследует свои как бы цели, и она настроена на то, чтобы, ну, стравить как бы два народа друг против друга любыми способами, грязными, не грязными. Ну, мое отношение как бы негативное, потому что, ну, тоже распространять фейки сейчас с любой стороны, это не очень корректно. Ну, особенно именно про какие-то убийства, то есть такие страшные вещи.
Если вспомнить прекрасный фильм «Хвост виляет собакой», о том, что все можно подстроить и там, выложить всех людей на улице, чтобы они там лежали, но все равно это... Я глубоко, с одной стороны, понимаю украинский народ как людей, которые вполне возможно в каких-то моментах они жестоки, но лично мое мнение, что они в данном случае имеют право на эту жестокость. Ты сидишь дома, у тебя все хорошо, и в какой-то момент по твоим улицам ездят танки. Я живу лично на Белорусском вокзале, и каждое утро смотрю на, в общем, площадь Белорусского вокзала и представляю себе, что вот, ну как, все начнет взрываться. Так что я глубоко... Мне кажется, это лично мое субъективное мнение, мне кажется, что такое может быть и не в Буче, такое может быть во всех городах России.
Сложно сказать, когда соответствующая ответственность есть за высказывание мнения, которое противоречит линии правительства. Здесь, пожалуй, буду придерживаться такой пацифистской точки зрения, что просто это должно все закончиться. Неважно, кто начал, важно, кто закончит.
So there's some answers from Russians off the 1420 channel. All right, and then let's go to the newest from Rob. The worst is yet to come. So again, this is Rob from Speak the Truth. That was 1420 channel. This is Rob Turkla from Speak the Truth. We've been tuned into his channel. Tuned into Speak the Truth since the beginning. So we've been following along their updates every stream.
How are you guys doing? Welcome over to the channel. If you guys are new, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss out on the videos we post every single day on this channel. So out the gate, here's my map. If you're new, red, Russia, blue, Ukraine. Super simple. All right, so here you go. Quite a bit going on the eastern side of the country. This is probably going to be one of the largest conflicts zones, areas that we've ever seen since World War II. I'm going to go on a limb and say that. The amount of casualties that are going to come over the next coming weeks to a month is going to be really, really, really heavy from both sides. So here's pretty much the situation, just so you have an understanding. This black line is the transportation route, the logistical routes for the Russian forces on this side of the country for the most part. And then Kupiansk right here, this is going to be the logistical hub. I'm going to go ahead and just do this. I'm not going to annotate it on the map because it actually I think it kind of makes it, I don't know, a little messy. So I like to show it. So there's that. I'm going to go ahead and start this episode off with just a little bit of comedic, I think that's the correct word, relief. Just take a gander at this photo. Just go ahead and just soak it up, ladies and gentlemen. This right here that you were seeing is a Russian soldier who thinks they're taking a photo in front of a destroyed Ukrainian armored vehicle, when in fact it is a Russian MTLB with a 23mm autocannon. The Ukrainian forces don't have those. So this gentleman didn't realize, hey, look, Mom, that we destroyed this Ukrainian thing behind me, when in fact it's a Russian vehicle. So way to go, bud. started off a little bit of a really. Can we also note that DJI has actually probably inflicted more damage to the Russian military than any other NATO country really has? I'm just going to throw that one out there real quick. So check out this footage. I'm going to show you guys of a Ukrainian drone, DJI drone, chasing down a Russian soldier with the drone back to his defensive line. I have no idea, by the way, what this guy was doing.
Right. For real. This is the clip we saw at the start of the stream if you missed it. She takes the drone right back to his base that he was at.
So legitimately, this one guy was off by himself. Yes, I have a story about Afghanistan that is fairly, it's kind of funny looking back. But at the time, it wasn't funny. I went to go take a dump. I had to go take number 2. All right. Everybody has to. And then we could hear them on ICOM chatter that they were going around and they were about to attack us and whatnot. I'm just going to make this story real short. I didn't bring my weapon, my helmet, my vest, nothing. Went to go take a poo on the other side of the hill. Well, I was kind of new to life, and I decided I was going to walk back on top of this ridgeline without anything and just exposing myself. I was just walking, just meandering away. I was just thinking about the glorious number 2 I just took. Well, they initiated contact on me, and it wasn't very fun. It was actually quite scary. I dove head first off the side of this hill, this mountain, and slid belly down as I can hear the rounds flying over the top and hitting the top of the dirt right above me. And I was with another gentleman, and we both looked at each other and we thought, wow, we were really dumb. And then we started laughing because we realized how stupid we are. We're now pinned down without a weapon. And that's what I think about when I see that guy. He went to go take a dump by himself, realized, oh my God, there was a drone chasing me. And then, by the way, the aftermath of this was the Russian positions they actually got hit by artillery rounds. The next footage I saw and clips I saw was them being literally geolocated, and then they dropped arty rounds on top of them. So that kind of sucks for them. China's foreign ministry has now came out and said that they urge the United States not to visit Taiwan. If the U.S. goes on its way, China will resolute and forcible measures to firmly defend the national sovereignty and territorial integrity of the U.S. must be fully responsible for the consequences. It is a deeply disruptive move that will drive a negative wedge into U.S.-China relations. I think a lot's going on there that China's just, they really want Taiwan. And we know that Japan says that they're okay with the U.S. putting nukes back there. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, which we're going to touch on and probably for the next couple of weeks, that is just not that pleasant. It's not a pleasant topic to talk about because it's a lot crazier than people think. So you guys remember the clip I showed you guys, the Chernobyl, the overhead footage of that? So you know what? We're going to show you just a little bit more, except this time this is the area where the Russians actually dug in. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is not something I would be a part of at all myself. I do not want to be a part of being around Chernobyl, and these guys are not, so here is that footage.
Due to the radiation that's in the ground and how wild it was the day before, and video clips were coming out of the Russian soldiers digging fighting positions in the Chernobyl region. Again, if you don't know where Chernobyl is, here it is on the map. Here it is in the map to the north. That was one of the first regions that the Russian forces had taken early in the invasion. And it's now back. They've been expelled from the region.
Там как раз мышей эти селили. Оно и горело.
Давайте к нам. Чуєте? От зараз виміряємо радіаційний фон, він вже пищить, показує перевищення. От місце, де російські військовослужбовці в забрудненій території рили окопи, от, ну, як видно, для людей, от для важкої техніки, для танків або інших важких машин. Дуже багато рили. Дуже багато їх залишків від їжі. Вони тут і жили в цьому лісі. І багато поспалювали. На мешке написано, мешки даже российские с собой привозили. Русский ПХЛ какой-то.
The mayor of Bucha is now stating that almost 90% of the civilians that are being found inside of this area are not being found with shrapnel wounds. They're being found with bullet wounds. Okay, so keep note of this. They're looking at what is going on in this area because we know what happened over the last few days. They have now found 3 mass graves within the city, and the death toll is rising every single day. There's now also evidence. This one's very disturbing. And unfortunately, I'll never be able to unsee what I saw today. And that's why I don't show you guys images on here, because sometimes they are very disturbing. Though there's evidence coming out that Russian soldiers have actually started beheading some Ukrainian civilians. And I'm going to tell you guys, I did not take someone's word for this. I wanted to find it out myself. And it is true. From the images I saw, and actually it was a video too, it is something that is happening. Very disturbing. I don't want you guys to go search it if you don't want to. It might give you a little bit of nightmares. Don't do that. I'm telling you, from my own experience, I've witnessed it, and it is true.
Yep. There's those videos are out there. I'm not showing them either.
What I saw. So the current situation in
Bucha was enough for us. I played that for the stream, but that was enough. Like, I was almost sick after that video. But if you just go, you got to find them.
In Borodyanka is much horrific than it is in Bucha, is what's coming out. Ukrainian law enforcement is collecting evidence and identifying suspects for the acts that have been committed. So I actually think I spoke about it yesterday. The U.S. actually came out and they've actually literally posted publicly what units were involved in this. So that's a big thing. So we spoke on Russians actually using mobile crematoriums yesterday, and that they're being used down in Mariupol. And I now have a video of this thing, which I'm going to share with you guys of what it looks like. So Russian lawmakers actually just warned Finland that serious repercussions will happen if they join NATO, saying it would make a valid target and secure the destruction of their country. Finland is now preparing to apply for NATO membership by the spring, according to local media reports within the country. So you have Finland, who is stating publicly that they are going to join NATO. Russia has said, if you join NATO, you will become a target, and we will secure the destruction of your country. I don't know if they're just being like, I'm really big and bad, or if this is a real thing. So there's actually been 4 deadly terror attacks in Tel Aviv in the last 2 weeks. Currently on the ground, Israeli forces are currently on a manhunt trying to find the individuals who committed this act of violence. So here's a video of that.
This is why we're going to be starting next week, going into happenings outside of Ukraine. This is one of the reasons. This is in Tel Aviv. We're going to be evolving to more of like a local Minnesota news / world news breakdown reaction. I know we're heavy on Ukraine right now, and that'll still continue, but I'll also be including other happenings in the world too, starting next week, I think.
4 American troops were also currently being treated for minor injuries after rockets in Syria hit the support buildings in the Green Village base. So now they're being treated with TBI and minor injuries. So that's another thing that's going on. I mean, we're talking about all over the world. Israeli Air Force tweeted this out today. Yes, tweeted this. Twitter is a big thing. What will the first war breakout look like? F-16 squadron in northern Israel simulates day 2 of wartime operations. They have been preparing practice strikes, missions, along with dogfights and hostile aircrafts. Israel's also stated that they want an agreement with no expiration date that wouldn't give Iran legitimacy to advance in nuclear programs. They said that if the agreement is not achieved, that Plan B must be used. Okay, Plan B. Here it is. To use force, to exert economic pressure, to exert political pressure. All right. The last little news piece. Just keeps going. It's been kind of a busy day in the world, apparently. U.S. and Poland are holding joint military exercises near the Ukrainian border. This is not something that's really too out of the ordinary, but they've also stated that tactical and fire training at the training ground in Nowa Dyba is to deepen the Polish and American troops to harmonize the Polish military units. So when you work with another unit, another country, I can see why they'd want to utilize this time to actually do this, because it's going to be very difficult for both of these forces to work together in a cohesive type environment. Mainly, one, you have language barriers, and two, tactics aren't always going to be the same. You know what I mean? Like reacting to contact, they might be a little bit different. So this is kind of a good thing for them to be doing this. All right. So this is a big deal. So outside of Kyiv,
because we have battle drills, we run battle drills our way. Other countries run battle drills their way. And when we do joint exercises, that's when like we get to use their weapons. We get to train on their weapon systems. Other countries train on our weapon systems. We learn their tactics. They learn ours. And it's just like a big training session. So they're using this time to train little extra layers of training while it's on the block.
Ukrainian soft units actually managed to capture a nearly complete Russian Buk M2 air defense battery, not a system. So I've done a little bit of research on this. So they found inside of these photos, as you can see, this is a fairly heavy loss for the Russians. But after doing this research, I found out that the Buk M2 system itself is almost meaningless without the other tools, like the radar and the telar. So the things you were seeing, they actually found all four of the pieces it needs, like the transportation, the like literally the radar, and the systems that connect to the Buk that shoots the missiles. There's a whole, like they got the entire thing now. Now they may not be able to use it, and some of them may be inoperable, but the fact that they have an entire battery, that's kind of a big deal. That's what I thought I'd share with you guys. All right, so back over to the map. There's been a lot going on in Kharkiv. The Russians have been shelling Kharkiv tremendously over the last, they've actually hit them 48 times in the last 24 hours. That's actually, you can think about it. It seems like they're hitting them probably at the top of the hour and the bottom of the hour. So that's the best way to look at it. 3 civilians have been killed in the city so far due to the shellings. So we spoke a ton over the attempted crossings down in Izium. You know, the river systems is down here. We know that they were attacked by ambushes and such. So like the Russians took heavy losses down in Izium trying to cross this river. So I actually have a video I want to show you guys. They're now successful crossing it, but I think this is a pretty good thing for you guys to see, so you guys have an understanding exactly what it looks like on the ground when they're making these crossings.
Now the Eastern Military District trucks. This is also, you can't see it, but this is an RT video, so Russian state video.
We're going to push up here to Kharkiv real quick. So they've actually secured, well, just outside of it, Chuhiv. So the town of Melinovica, as you guys see right here, it is actually cleaned and clear for y'all. There is an assaulting element who's actually secured the town. Now that same assaulting element is now moving south. Now, I don't know if they're going to be moving south on that main route. As you can see, there's a main route. Let me go ahead and clean that up right there. There's a main route that runs south here. And there's also another one that connects right there. I don't exactly know which way they're going to go. It really depends. If they want to go over here to the town of Synehubov, would probably be a pretty big deal, because then they might be able to cut off one of those supply routes, as you guys can see right here. That could be a thing, so we should watch for the Ukrainians to maybe take this P07 route to try to get over there, to cut them off. That could be a big deal. But I do know that Ukrainian reinforcements for the 128th Mountain Brigade have arrived in the area. So they're up here near Rubizine, actually, just so you guys are aware. Just in this area. So this is kind of a big deal if they were able to get reinforcements all the way over here in this Rubizine area, all the way over there. So that means they have freedom of movement to get their troops all along this backside and then up. That is kind of a big thing to keep note on.
Who's Steve? This is Rob. Do you have a person named Steve on there with them? This is Rob from Speak. It's Rob from Lunkers TV. It's Rob Turkla. This is his second channel. We've been tuned in Speak the Truth since they had 23,000 subscribers, and it's grown since, because he does a good job of breaking down the military movements. He has sources on the ground now. Before, when the war started, for the first couple of weeks, it was just off of news reports, but there's Americans that are on the ground that are in that international legion that are helping with information flow.
We've talked about them actually bringing men in from Sloviansk, or excuse me, from Kyiv to Sloviansk, because I believe that this area inside of here, this area right here that you guys are looking at, clean that up. This area right here, I'm telling you right now, they're going to see casualty rates as high as like we've seen in World War II over the next couple of weeks. I'm not trying to make this thing seem bigger than what it really is. It's going to be exceptionally high from both sides here. Like, this is going to be this is going to be the worst part of the war is going to be fought inside of this region. It will be. Like, I'm 110% sure of this. The amount of men and battalions that the Russian army has staged currently right here in this area is insane. There's a very large amount of men. Now, with me saying that, a lot of these men have been coming in from the areas that they've already been, like Sumy, Chernihiv, Kyiv. They've been actually relocated into this area, so they're not full capacity. But there is a large amount of men right here, and I know what they're doing. It's very obvious what they're doing. So you have them staging right here. Okay, you guys see stage right there. They're heavily
and we found that there's a natural gas deposit, or there's natural gas and resources in there. So Rob, as many other official sources, increased. This is that area he's looking at. There's natural gas a natural gas deposit. There's other refineries in here. Resources that Russia needs. There's Easium that he's talking about.
Stage right here. You see on these main routes, and one of the largest elements is actually staged right here. Expect over the next 48 hours, maybe 3 days, I don't know exactly, they're going to all push at once to try to gain a foothold to get an access to one of these main routes. You see all these little spidey veins coming off of here? All these little spidey veins right here are these main routes. They need access to these main routes to then push on through. Sloviansk right now is like, what kryptonite? Is that the best way to put it? I don't know. It is the heart of this area, and they cannot stand to lose it. That's the Ukrainians. But there is currently a counteroffensive going on by the Ukrainian forces that I spoke to you guys about earlier, the reinforcements. They are now pushing forward right here in Rubizine. They are now pushing on the northwest side of it, trying to take back the northern side of the city, which has been under Russian control for the last 2 weeks, I believe. So there's been heavy fighting as well. So we're going to scoot down here. I'm going to tell you guys, this entire line you guys are seeing all the way through here has been shelled tremendously over the last 24, 48 hours, 3 days. Like, tremendously. They're just hitting them. I mean, I've seen so many video footages coming from the side of white phosphorus being used in this area. Like, it's pretty terrible. So down here in Volodyanka, you guys see right here in Marinka. Now, the Russian forces have they've claimed that they've successfully broke through the Ukrainian lines inside of the area of Volodyanka. So right through here. So somewhere through here, they're claiming that they have broke through. That is the Russian military. Now, they still have a lot to deal with the Marinka and Kurilov and Balakliya. Man, I'm so good at these names. But anyway, there's a lot for them to actually have to push through. But they're trying to find... I also don't know how heavily fortified these other towns, like this one right here, which looks like, I would assume, just by looking at all the, like we keep calling the spidey veins going into it. This town right here, I'm telling you guys, is probably pretty heavily fortified like this. I'm going to make that assumption right now just because of the amount of routes that go in and out of it. So when they move forward, I don't know what the on-the-ground situation is because I'm currently not there. But just by looking at it from a tactical point of view, there's probably a pretty heavy fortification there. But if they have pushed through, that is another indication that they are actually going to make an attempt to push up north, even though they have not been able to take Mariupol. Now, I haven't annotated or changed Mariupol much just because it's literally house to house. And when I mean the Russian forces, they've taken like this, like I'm not being facetious when I say this. This is about the amount of ground they've taken. Like that much. I've been looking at the International Study of War. I go through a ton of maps and I do a lot of reading. And right now, that in the last 24 to 48, that's literally they've taken like a very small sliver. So they're still struggling. And I've actually seen video footage it was actually taken about 24 hours ago, but it's of the Azov.
No, white phosphorus is not legal. No.
It's actually utilizing tanks still in Mariupol. So they still have the ammunition and they still have tanks down there to actually make somewhat of an offensive push. So the Russians are actually still having, and they're losing a lot of like men and equipment down in this area. And I still haven't been able to figure out why. I don't know why. I don't know. Mariupol.
They need it for propaganda, and that's opinion time. They need it for propaganda. They need Mariupol because that's where the Azov battalion is. That's where that battalion that had Nazis in it in 2014 likely still has far right people in it. It's been denazified since over time, but likely going to be nationalists in that militia. but they need it. The Russia needs that area, and they need that fighting, and they need that video for their media, for their news, because the Azov battalion is the whole reason for, or at least Russia's justification, saying that Ukraine is full of neo-Nazis, and they're using the Azov battalion as if like, hey, this is their military. This is the Ukrainian military, when it's not. It's just one battalion within the military that's fighting in Mariupol. So they need the fighting to continue. They don't want, they can't take a big L or leave the city, because then that their propaganda efforts will diminish, in my opinion.
Is down here. Like, it's all by its, like, you look around this country, like, look at this. They have all these elements spread out so thin, and they're not really gaining anything out of it. So anyway, that's what's going on in this eastern side of the country. You need to pay attention over the next week or so. It may not even be a week. It could be tomorrow. It could be 48 hours. I have no idea. But we are going to see just mass casualties are going to happen, because right now the Russian forces are refitting, regrouping, and resupplying all their men inside these areas, waiting for one of the largest pushes we've seen since World War II. That is going to happen. I guarantee it. Now, they still control this town over here, Synehubov. They took it back over about 2 days ago, but there is a current offensive actually happening right now in Posad and Limerovka. Anyway, they're pushing south towards Kherson. I'm still somewhat a believer that I think this element that's down here, even though there is a very large element right here, by the way, there's a larger element right there, Russian forces, than there actually is in Kherson or anywhere else inside of this area. There really is. There's not a very large force here, but I do believe I could see them actually pushing back to Kherson and holding off and holding that line, and then making a push through if they actually take anything else. So that's what's going on. That's pretty much that. So stay tuned. There's a lot going on over the next couple days. You don't want to miss out. I promise you. Make sure you guys are new. Subscribe. If other than that, I will see you guys.
Support Rob's work and the work that they're doing there in his channel. So lots going to be happening in the eastern region of Ukraine. We've been seeing it from Rob, from official sources, just scrolling, just watching how the military tactics are working. Probably Russian, probably including Chechen Rozgavir troops, forces, and an MRAP in Mariupol, a Baran MRAP. So this is Mariupol. AZZ with a 9.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you for the great stream and info. Thank you. All right. And then also the intelligence report. This is in Borodyanka in the Kyiv Oblast. This came out 15 minutes ago. This is where John Sweeney is, and all the press has been. Borodyanka, the city with the monument in the middle of the roundabout. Where is it now? This is the roundabout city with the monument there. This one, Borodyanka. Wow. Is it a Lenin statue? No, I don't think so. Lenin statues everywhere. Video what Borodyanka looks like. All right, one more time. All right. Ukrainian military truck with a destroyed 2S1 Go howitzer. Gvozdka howitzer. All right, and then this is the update. We saw 20 Bushmaster vehicles from QLD gifted to aid Ukrainian military. All right, y'all. Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning in. That's gonna wrap it up for me. I went late. Well, actually, I didn't. This is the normal amount of time for the stream, 3 hours minimum. But I was late because the stream wasn't working. I was trying everything to get the stream fired up, and the internet just wasn't working. If you could, as you guys leave for the night, drop where you guys are tuning in from, what city and what state. Thank you again so much for choosing Mercado Media and independent media. If it's not just me, if you guys are following other independent news sources, that's awesome. Corporate media does not have the interest of the people out here. It seems to me that independent journalists are the only ones that don't have an agenda. Or they aren't controlled. I'm not controlled. Damn, most of y'all saw me rip a bong here the second week of the stream, so I'm for sure not controlled. Thank you guys again. Follow the page. Make sure you're following us on Facebook. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. Spam those reactions. Spam the like. Thank you to everybody that's a supporter, a subscriber of the Facebook page. Thank you to everybody that's a member of the YouTube channel. And I'll see you guys again live tomorrow morning. Have a good night. Take care.